A lot has happened over the last 24 hours and change. The Jets signed a new quarterback. They lost another starter for the season. Oh. And Garrett Wilson's flirting with a quarterback on social media. What in God's green earth is going on? We'll find out. Boy Green Daily starts now.
I'm going to lose my gosh darn bananas. Boy Green Daily starts now. Zoinks!
Boy Green Daily, Boy Green Daily, Boy Green Daily. Let's go!
Put your seatbelts on. Get ready for the ride. We're the freaking New York Jets, so we're built for this shit.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? I'm your handsome host, Paul Eston Jr., a.k.a. Boy Green. I'm the New York Jets digital reporter for Heavy.com. Welcome to Boy Green Daily. This is a daily New York Jets video show, also available wherever you get your podcast. And there's just an overflowing amount of news. So that will lead today's show, all the news and rumors that we've heard this week. Plus, of course, Jets Saints is coming up this weekend. We'll get into that as well. If you're coming in on YouTube, make sure you guys like the video and hit subscribe. That's the free way to contribute. But also shout out to our Facebook and Twitter viewers that watch the show every day. Thank you very much. And also to our audio-only listeners of the show, the people that watch the replay on YouTube as well. All are welcome here on Boy Green Daily. It's an absolute treat. Every Friday, I've got a special co-host joining me on today's festivities, and you can see it over my left shoulder. He is the author of that book, Beyond Broadway Joe, the team that changed football, baby, the Super Bowl team that changed football. And let's get to it. Let's bring him in. And equally handsome, it's Bob Lederer, baby. What's up, Bob?
I am going to avoid singing the song. I'm going to let you play the 8 seconds of it that you feel comfortable playing, but I'm all in.
On this guy?
I've been smitten for a while.
Oh, yeah, smitten. That's a good word usage. Me and my dad, every once in a while, whenever we hang out, we'll say a word like smitten or whatever, a word that's not normally said. And then we'll look at each other and say, you know what? That word doesn't get enough play. That word doesn't get enough play. Smitten.
By the way, I prepared for easy this week. We're going to talk about Schlemiel and Schlemazel.
Okay, great. I'm looking forward to learning whatever the hell that means, Bob.
Right.
And that should be a real treat. But speaking of treats,
what do you think of all the Aaron Glenn may be gone after the season?
Well, I'll reveal that after we say, hey, Jared B., our moderator in the chat, gifting a Boy Green Coffee Club membership. Thank you.
Good way to get started.
That is 5 raffle tickets for our guy, Jared B. So thank you very much. But I do want to get into that as well with the Aaron Glenn fire, not fire. What are people saying? By the way, they went to Phil Sounds in our audience. Phil Sounds, you're now a member of the Boy Green Coffee Club. Shout out to Jared B. Our top 5 are represented in the scrolling ticker down below. There's so much to get to. So let's get to everything, including that with the AG rumors. I want to get to that too. So the start of the Jets lose for the season again. I mean, this is a season from hell for the Jets for a lot of reasons. They're 3-11. They missed the playoffs for the 15th year in a row, but they've lost another starter for the season. Tony Adams is now out. Now, some fans will be like, well, Tony Adams, I didn't even think was playing that well. Some people will say in the audience. So how big of a loss is that? But still, it's just crazy how the injuries are piling up. Here are the raw numbers here on the injuries that the Jets have. They currently have 14 players on injured reserve. That includes multiple starting receivers, Garrett Wilson and Josh Reynolds, multiple starting defensive backs. That's Andre Sisco, Azareye'h Thomas, Isaiah Oliver, Tony Adams, and, of course, Elijah Vera Tucker. And obviously there have been other starters throughout the season that have temporarily been on that list and that have come off. But those are all names that are currently on the list right now. So I don't know how many more injuries these New York Jets can take here, Bob, because – if a player gets placed on IR, they're out for a minimum of 4 games. There's only 3 games left. So anyone that gets placed on IR obviously is out for the rest of the season. So good Lord have mercy. A lot of injuries here.
Next man up, Paul. Next man up.
I don't even know who could be because, if we just go to the secondary, Andre Sisco's out. He was a starting safety. So Tony Adams replaces him. Tony Adams is out for the season. Malachi Moore replaced one of those two in the middle of the season. You go to corner, Sauce Gardner was traded. Michael Carter II was traded. Azaria Thomas is out for the year. You just start going through all, and Isaiah Oliver filled in both of those places before he was out of the year. I don't know who the hell is going to be starting in that secondary over the final 3 years.
It sounds like a game of musical chairs, only there's not enough people playing. Not too many people.
Exactly, right. It's the opposite of that game,
Yeah.
which is currently occurring here for the Jets. We will probably get an update on Garrett Wilson, I imagine, with AG in a couple hours. And my full expectation, by the way, and this wasn't even one of our news bits that we talked about, that he's going to announce that I don't think Garrett Wilson's going to be activated off IR. Thus, he will remain or be out for the season, however you want to phrase it. That's my fear. That's too strong of a word. It's probably the right decision to make sure he's just healthy for 2026. So are you cool with him staying on IR, Bob?
I wanted him to stay off the field, since he got hurt.
You go.
But again, I'm on the tank train. And
sure.
By the way, for those of you out there that haven't jumped on yet, still plenty of room for you. And it's first class too.
Oh, wow. That's excellent. Well, this would be a good week to do it here, Bob, because there are massive draft implications with the Jets-Saints game this weekend. Saints are 4-10. Jets are 3-11. Saints are eliminated from a number one pick. They've already won too much, so they cannot get there. But there's a chance for the Jets to get there, how minuscule it is. But they have a chance for a number one pick. But if they lose to the Saints, there's like a clear path to at least getting a top 3 pick, which, of course, for Fernando, music, and everything else, or better players in general, that would help them. So this game is the biggest game left on their schedule from that perspective.
Well, it's rather pathetic that this is maybe the most important game of the year for the Jets.
Yeah.
And next week will be 1A because we need to have the Giants beat – we need to have the Raiders beat the Giants.
Correct. I would love the Giants to beat the Vikings this weekend, which, by the way, I think is possible, but other people can debate what they want. It depends what Vikings team shows up. There's been hot Vikings teams. There's been cold Vikings teams. Giants are very capable of beating the Vikings. They lost to Commanders last week, which I thought was good because Commanders dropped behind the Jets. Now I want the Giants to win. Beat the Vikings, and then you're right. The next week, Raiders beat the Giants, and then we just start removing other teams from the pile as we ascend. That's what I'm looking to do.
I picture us kind of stepping over the dead bodies as we
100%.
As we work our way up to the front of the line. It's like, going back the day after Christmas to return your clothes and get some new ones.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. And so I would absolutely love that. So let's keep, speaking all of that into existence. The Jets added a new quarterback, Bob. And here's the thing just to throw out there in the universe. We had a
YouTube Is his name Fernando?
It's not. It's a Hooker, actually, which I don't know if that's the same ring. That's different.
TJ Hooker?
That could be his middle name. It could be Officer TJ Hooker, but I believe this is Hendon Hooker, the former Tennessee product and Virginia Tech product. And he got here. So he worked out for the team yesterday morning. They like what they see. They sign him. Brady Cook's going to be the starter. We can talk about that later. And AG said that the healthiest guy between Tyrod Taylor and Justin Fields will be the QB2 to Brady Cook. Justin's still battling knee soreness, and Tyrod now has a new injury. He has a groin and a knee, and you're like, oh, good Lord. Like, this guy is just
I think the knee soreness is from when he said he wasn't really comfortable running the Wildcat, and one of the coaches had one of the players kick him in the knee.
Yeah, that could have been.
If you can't play the Wildcat, you can't play the Wildcat.
It maybe it's knee soreness from carrying that massive brain around on his shoulders. The weight has to go somewhere on his body, I imagine. So that could be another.
So you mentioned Hooker was with Tennessee. Yeah. Does Tennessee play the Chiefs this week or next week?
Tennessee does play the Chiefs this week. And when I referenced Tennessee, I meant the college. But that is great connective tissue there, Bob. And I think Tennessee could totally beat the Chiefs. I think there could be some seismic movement this week because with Patrick Mahomes being off the board, I'm supposed to fear Gardner Minshew. And by the way, Gardner Minshew's Chiefs plays that Raiders team as well. So again, multiple opportunities here for some potential wins in terms of the tanking crowd in the audience with that group. And on Hooker, there's a chance that Hooker, after like a day and a half of practice, could be the QB2 to Brady Cook. Both Tyrod Taylor and Justin Fields have been limited the first 2 days of this week with all of these injuries. if they have to, well, like you just never hope the injury happens for Brady, but like Hendon Hooker, he was with AG and Tanner Angstrom in Detroit, so you hope he has some grasp of the playbook. He may need it because Tyrod or Justin might not be available, which we could get an update on later today. Good Lord. Drama.
Yeah.
Drama.
I'm happy that Brady's going to get another chance this week, although I had no doubt he would. He made the rookie mistakes that lead to interceptions that every rookie inevitably makes. I mean, every rookie. It doesn't matter, at least since the 1960s. Anytime you put a first-year player in and he takes his initial snaps and he plays against an NFL defense, he's going to get intercepted pretty steadily. Again, that article that I referred to now months ago, Peyton Manning set the rookie record, I think, for interceptions in a season.
It still holds to this day, that Peyton Manning interception.
And there isn't anybody that wouldn't take Peyton Manning, on their card, on their bingo card, first choice, if they had that opportunity. So, and the same thing is really, Aiken had the same problem. Everybody, has that problem. The funny thing is, though,
it's about to be a Hall of Famer here, Bob.
Well, I don't know, but Brady got intercepted 3 times in the last 20 yards of the field.
Yes, 3 of his 5 interceptions have come in the red zone. That
theoretically, and it's theories of this sort of thing are worth nothing.
Sure.
If he had led them to touchdowns, we would have only lost 48-41.
There you go. Way to find the silver lining, Bob.
Yeah, and or even that 48-29.
I think that for Brady, again, because when you see the raw numbers of 1 touchdown to 5 picks, God, he's awful. I think interceptions, like anything, if you go to your Facebook status, there's a lot of choices you could pick: single, divorced, this, that, or the other. One of the choices, it's complicated. And that's what I think interceptions are a lot in football. You've got, did Brady...
Hi, sports fans. While we wait for Paul to come back on the screen, welcome to Boy Green Daily. I'm not Boy Green, but I'm sure he'll be back here any second now. Paul, please come back. I haven't done a solo act in a very long time. There it is.
Yeah,
back to you, Paul.
Yeah, there you go. Great tap dancing there. Apparently a minivan was outside my house trying to tackle me. I must have criticized the wrong person with the Jets. Yeah, that's right. Good Lord. But no, I don't know where I was cut off. But long story short, Brady Cook and the interceptions, I think it's complicated. Yeah. And some of them could be on Brady. Some of them could be on the receivers. Some of the receivers didn't fight to the ball, and then the ball gets intercepted. So that happened a few times. So either way, but what I like is that Brady's taking chances. That wasn't, if we go back to Justin Fields, that wasn't happening enough. And by the time he realized it was way too late. And even when he realized it, he wasn't doing it enough. He's giving the guys chances. That's what people, I think, wanted in Tyrod as well. At least he'll give the receivers chances. If we're getting that in Brady in a version that's 12 years younger, awesome. We'd rather see it there because Tyrod Taylor, with this latest entry this week, just shows me why I don't want Tyrod back next year. No offense to Tyrod, but he can't stay healthy. So I don't want a bridge that can't stay healthy. So I think Brady Cook, if he continues to intrigue over these final 3 games, should be a part of that quarterback room, whether it's QB2 or QB3.
It's a matter of being able to understand the defense and know what they're going to give you, because the best quarterback will say, I'll take what the defense gives me. Yeah. Until we fall way behind, then I've got to start really zinging the ball all over the field. But Brady Cook also had all of 1 week of full-time practice, taking all the snaps before the game last week, and he's still synchronizing, his plays, with his 2 new wide receivers, with Jeremy Ruckert, and I want to talk about that too. Yeah. And so, even expecting that much or error-free football from him, even over the next 3 games, is really fanciful. It's just not likely. And frankly, I thought he was much better last week. The first week where he was thrown in, in the middle of the chaos with no time to even warm up, he had a lot of trouble getting out of the pocket when there was a pass rush. And it was much less obvious last week. that he had figured out how to get in and out, how to move around. And in fact, they even ran plays to get him out of the pocket. And he's got a good enough arm. And in fact, he made better throws than he was accused of being made during the preseason, when they said, "Oh, when he throws over the middle, he just throws it 10 yards over a guy's head." His throws were pretty accurate last week. So I think you'll see a lot of the same, but improved, against New Orleans. But I'll tell you what, while you were doing the postmortems last week, I turned on the New Orleans game, especially when it got to be 10-10. And I was going, "Come on, Saints, I know you can do it. Let's walk down on Bourbon Street together." And they really played very well against a team, Atlanta, that is a huge rivalry with them because they're both so deep in the South, and they've had good success. I think they swept the Falcons in the 2 games they played this year. So
they definitely did the Panthers. They definitely did the Panthers.
Yeah. Okay. So it was the Panthers last week, not the Falcons. So anyway, and they got this quarterback that, up until maybe 5 weeks ago, nobody had ever heard of.
Tyler Shuck.
Tyler Shuck is playing lights out. And we should have a contest to see who can spell his name correctly without looking it up.
That is true, especially with how it is supposed to be pronounced versus how you would think it'd be pronounced based on seeing it. And I'll tell you this, Bob, we spoke to a Saints analyst yesterday. One of I think the number one questions on Jets people's minds is, first off, I want to have the number 1 pick because I don't want to trade. And number 2, if there's another team above us that you say, don't worry, Paul, they have their quarterback figured out. Still, that means someone else can trade with them. So I don't like that at all. But I asked the Saints guy, this Tyler Shuck guy, who's a top 40 pick in the draft. He's a rookie, obviously. He was a top 40 pick in the draft. Would the Saints at all consider taking a quarterback in the first round? I'm just sort of curious. I don't know how they feel about Tyler Shuck, despite the fact he's playing well. And the Saints analyst yesterday said New Orleans has absolutely no interest in taking a quarterback in the first round. So I said, okay, another team off the list. Great. But again, let's just hope we keep moving forward ahead of teams. I think that's for the best. You brought up the Falcons, so I want to highlight this. So, Bob, we're going to play a game here. I want you to tell me if this is something or nothing.
Okay. It's up to you. Something or nothing. New game. Okay, here we go.
Because we've checked off a lot of the headline buckets. Jets lose start for season. Tony Adams out. Check. Oh, they signed a new quarterback. Officer TJ Hooker. Check. But there's one more we haven't addressed. Garrett Wilson flirts with next quarterback. That's what some people may say. So let's go to Garrett Wilson's social media activity. So NFL Network insider Ian Rappaport just tweeted out this random video from Kirk Cousins where he's breaking down coverages. He got into it with the reporter, not in a bad way, like a good way of how excited he was to talk about the difference of cover 1 to cover 2 and a blitz this and a blitz that. And Garrett Wilson responded to Kirk Cousins. Garrett Wilson does not tweet often, and he says a dog with a fire emoji. And some Jet fans responded to Garrett going, now wait just a second. Are you interested in some Captain Kirk Cousins action, or is it just simply a compliment for some random quarterback in the league? Is this something or nothing?
Well, it's both.
Okay.
It's something because Garrett Wilson likes the idea of Kirk Cousins throwing him the ball next year. Yeah. It's nothing because I don't think that AG or Muji are going to ask him to be in on the analysis and the decision as to who the quarterback is.
It's probably true. Yeah.
And I saw. I can't recall who it was I was watching yesterday. It might have been on your show. It might have been on Jake's. I don't know. But they were talking about the absolute it was Boomer and Gio. It was the ridiculous decision by Carolina to allow Cam Ward to apparently have a say in who the next coach is going to be.
Oh, the Tennessee Titans.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, because Cam Ward, for those who missed it.
Yeah, I mean, hey, look, if Kirk Cousins was the second coming of Peyton Manning, then this kind of comment would be okay. Well, it's a nice rah-rah, type of comment. But I still don't think that the Jets would would ask Garrett, well, who is it that you would like to have throwing you the ball next year?
Right.
And when I was listening to Jets Final Drive a couple of weeks ago, Kirk Cousins was right at the top of the list of the guys that they said the Jets should not want.
Yeah, Connor Hughes said that. He was very, from seeing in person Kirk Cousins when the Jets played the Falcons, Connor had a very scathing review going, oh my God, this guy's clearly washed.
And you had a whole show in which you talked about whether Jet fans can get over the fact that Kirk Cousins used us. How many years ago was it? 5, 6, 7 years ago. And had no intention of ever playing for us, but just used the Jets to jack up the price with the Vikings.
7 years ago, as a matter of fact.
Yeah,
7.
and I'm in the school I would have said, goodbye, don't let the door hit you on the way out. I'm not interested. I don't care.
I'm petty. Yeah, I don't know if I could overlook that.
I hold a grudge a long time.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be difficult. Now, don't get me wrong. I mean, I've seen, and I'm sure Garrett has too, which would speak to the comment as well. He's seen Drake London eat this year. Kyle Pitts has had a really good season. I'm sure he's seen them. He's like, yeah, all right, targets, catches, touchdowns. All right, Kirk, if he could do that. And I think Zach Rosenblatt, he wrote a piece yesterday, and this will, I'm sure, fodder a lot of Jets content creator shows. He had this like off-season early look about free agents they could chase, guys they could re-sign, and all things of that nature. And I believe it was him. It could have been Rich Cimini. Same thing. We both listened to too much Jets content. We can't even cite where the hell it came from. But either he or Rich Cimini said that Kirk Cousins may be the most realistic option for the Jets of all the veteran quarterbacks. If you just boil everything down to what Kirk would want, what the Jets would want, and there's Kyler Murray and all these other guys.
And playing ability.
Correct, right, exactly. So, yeah, I believe it was either Rich or Zach said Kirk Cousins may be the most realistic veteran quarterback option for the Jets. So it's something we may have to get used to, even though me and you, Bob, are like, not so sure I feel about it. So something and nothing.
We will see. Can I bring up the Jeremy Ruckert thing up for a minute?
Yes, I was just going to ask you to bring it up. So great. We're on the same page. Go ahead.
My first reaction was $10 million for a guy who caught, 12 passes this year?
20. I believe it's 20.
Okay, and he racked up 165 yards, in receiving.
I believe it's 163.
I overstated his.
You did, and a touchdown, hit the first touchdown of his career.
My first reaction was $5 million a year for that. You made, I thought, a good point about once you get to free agency, all hell can break loose, which I doubt would happen in any major way with him, especially since he's the local boy who wants to continue to make good, so that his friends and family and whatever can watch him play here. And he's got Jet, green in his veins and that sort of thing. But then I kind of came around to it because I thought about the fact that, again, if Aaron Glenn's going to continue to be at the controls, they want to be a run-first offense. I mean, they want to be a run-first offense if they had the greatest quarterback in the league, because that's the winning formula that they had in Detroit. And again, since I've been here in Chicago now for, 30-something years, that was always the Bears and Green Bay's philosophy, basically because the weather's so bad come middle of November to the end of December. Because if you can control the ball on the ground, so your quarterback doesn't have to make a lot of throws, it's all to your benefit. And the Jets, and maybe it came directly from Glenn, made it a major point that he had really become a terrific blocker. And in training camp, the rap on him was, well, he's not even a good blocker for a tight end.
Right.
So apparently he rated higher even in the blocking numbers than Mason Taylor did this year. Not although Mason Taylor's a rookie, and that's not unusual. But if he's that good at blocking, then he's worth to the Jets what he's worth to the Jets. So you will just have to deduct the $5 million in the coming year off what they have left to spend after signing him, and what they gave $6 million guaranteed per year for 2 years to their center.
That was Myers. Yeah, Myers.
And
got
I saw,
$6 million
I
guaranteed,
saw
yep.
in a column yesterday, and I can't remember which one it was, that they actually have $111 million in cap space.
Correct. Right.
So it's gone up in the last 2 weeks. I don't know how, but it has gone up. So I don't have an issue with giving him the $10 million and $1 million bonus potential and that sort of thing. It does seem a tad on the high side, but let's go get John Simpson signed up now, because to me that's the guy that is most obviously somebody they want to continue to have on board. And again, he's got his wife who works locally as a physician, so maybe that'll help them not get a hometown discount, but get some hometown preference. Because it'd be convenient for him not to have to move somewhere else or move somewhere without his wife.
Yes, and I would say on the Jeremy Ruckert thing, one thing that you said that the Jets could have used against Jeremy to get him even cheaper than what they got, to get him cheaper, is they knew he was a diehard Jets fan. They knew his family wanted him to stay here. He's a Long Island native. Like, for all of those reasons, the Jets could have said, hey, you really want to be here? Here's a 2-year deal for $8 million, $7 million. Could they have shaved a few shekels off? Okay, perhaps. But what I don't get is the outrage. And Yo Holmes, I see him, he is screaming in the chat about oh my goodness, what an overpay. Luke Farrell, another tight end in the league, has double his stats. Like, here's the other thing that we should sort of consider here on Jeremy. The first 3 years of his career were a wash. He stunk. There was injuries. He was buried on the depth chart. The same offseason that the Jets drafted Jeremy Ruckert with the 101st overall pick, they spent $45 million at the tight end position, signing Tyler Conklin and C.J. Uzomah. If Ruckert was healthy, how the hell was he going to play 2 tight ends, let alone his own involvement in the offense? And if we're being candid, the Jets weren't exactly lighting it up from a passing perspective. So the third tight end normally isn't high on the register. Oh man, we're just throwing passes everywhere. Oh, who else on the list? Yes, tight end 3. Got to get him some action.
We haven't exactly seen Stone Smart and Anthony Becht making glorious plays week after week.
Anthony Becht, I love that 2000 reference there, Bob. That's
well, nice. And the other thing, getting back to your first point about anything can happen in free agency.
Yes.
Now
yes,
you're not the baseball or the Mets fan that I am.
No, I am not.
But the Mets signed Luke Weaver this week, who you probably know in passing.
Sure.
Another Yankee relief pitcher, and I won't dote on that. But he made $2 million last year pitching for the Yankees. Nice. And he became a free agent. And the Mets gave him $11 million a year for 2 years.
Because who do they think he is? Jeremy Ruckert?
Yeah, or Eduardo or Diaz. I mean, Diaz only got a bump up in annual salary if you forget deferrals. When he signed with the Dodgers, he's only making $2-3 million a year more than he was making with the Mets. So, I wouldn't have given Luke Weaver $11 million, but apparently the Mets thought that was a fair price to pay for a guy who's, he's a decent relief pitcher. He's not outstanding. So he's in the Jeremy Ruckert, field of study. So anything can happen in free agency. And, and if Pittsburgh center really wants, or is expecting to get $20+ million a year from
Baltimore center.
Yeah. A Baltimore center. If he's expecting that kind of money, and he probably will be offered something along the lines of that,
probably
with bonuses and everything else, anything can happen. But the Jets still have more to offer, not only trade-wise if they want to make a deal, but free agency-wise than any other team out there. So let's go Jets.
Yeah, I will follow back up with your point that I didn't address with, like now that the Jets have signed Josh Myers proactively, they've signed Jeremy Ruckert proactively, who's the next guy that could be proactively signed. You brought up John Simpson. The choice now, I think you have to pick one or the other. Maybe you don't. Maybe there's a way to keep both. If there is, blessed be he. But I think you got to pick one or the other, either John Simpson or Elijah Tucker. I think Elijah Tucker could definitely be the better player when healthy. But I don't like the caveat of when healthy. I would probably play it safe on the Jets. If I could only pick one, I'm picking Simpson. plug and play. I don't think he's playing as well this year as he was playing last year, but continuity. He's been rock solid. He's a Aaron Glenn, Darren Mucci guy. He's pounded the table for them. He seems to be a nice leader. I would try to sign John Simpson as soon as possible. And it sounds like, according to Zach Rosenblatt, that they can get him basically for the same deal they signed him for the first time. When they signed John Simpson for Incy, it was like a 2-year deal for $19 million and change. Zach Rosenblatt believes he could sign for 2 years and about $20 million. Okay, pass the biscuits. That's with all the money they have. That's no nothing.
And John Simpson has that ingredient that the coaches look for in every offensive lineman, and he's nasty.
100. That was the word I was going to use. If someone said, "Hey, Paul, what's one word? If you could pick one word to describe John Simpson, it'd be nasty." There is an intensity there, and sometimes that engine runs a little hot. We saw it like when Justin Fields supposedly got hit late at the end of that Pittsburgh first half, and John Simpson immediately got in someone's face. So you want that. You don't want the penalty, but you want someone defending your quarterback, and that energy I think he brings is infectious to the group. So I think he has an impact beyond the stat sheet. So he is one I would advocate and urge the New York Jets to re-sign sooner rather than later. I would.
Yeah, and one more thing I wanted to bring up that I did send you notes about this week.
Yes.
Phil in Florida talked about a Ring of Honor for some of the brighter lights. And everyone's bright, everyone is smart, everybody is really a good contributor and loved.
Yeah.
But I had an idea about you coming up with a second Ring of Honor, not for people who are on the show, but for Jets, former players who played at least 3 years and who deserve more attention than they've received because, well, they're not quite in the upper echelon. They're not stars or superstars or guys that got great acknowledgement during their playing days. And I think it'd be an interesting idea for you to establish a Ring of Honor of your own, again, with people, kind of making bids about, how much they'd be willing to put into the Boy Green Daily till to have your own Ring of Honor and, bring up some of the guys that we know, have been terrific players and contributors for the Jets, but have never kind of made it, to a highly visible, post playing situation. And that means something to me because that was kind of the essence for my book. I wanted to honor the other guys beyond Joe Namath, who really made the Super Bowl season what it was, and frankly, who made Joe Namath a celebrity for half a century.
All right, Bob, I'm going to ask you this impromptu. I have a name on top of my head. It just hit me when you were talking. Who is a Jet that you would, we'll try to make this a thing, and I'll have all the rules and everything in the future, but just in the immediate right now, who is a Jets player that is not in the Ring of Honor that you in this world would want to highlight and say, hey, you know what? This guy isn't getting enough love. I would like to put in my hat for this Jets player. Is someone who's played at least 3 years here that you would like to nominate. And if you don't have a name immediately, I do.
Oh, you know what? I'll harken back to the Super Bowl team.
Okay. All right.
Two of the guys that I know have not gotten the love that they deserve. One is Billy Baird, who still holds the record for interceptions.
Correct.
By a corner, not a cornerback. Well, he played cornerback for them, but he was basically a safety.
But some safety. Yeah.
Yeah. It's by a wide margin. And he played for 10, 11 years for them. And the other is Ralph Baker, who was a linebacker and who made an incredibly important play in the championship game against the Raiders, where he picked up LaMonica's lateral that LaMonica meant as a forward pass that Baker recovered that ended the last Oakland threat. And then in the Super Bowl, and the first Baltimore play from scrimmage in the second half, which everybody was afraid was going to be a momentum starter for the Colts, Tom Matte takes a handoff, gets 3 or 4 yards. Verlin Biggs knocks the ball loose, and Baker recovers. So Baker made 2 big plays in 2 critical games. And frankly, I'd put Verlin Biggs on the list too. Verlin Biggs was a monster in his years with the Jets. John Elliott. I mean, there are probably 7 or 8 guys on that team alone. And then I can look at the Rex Ryan era, and we can look at at the other winning eras, the Michaels era, where there were some really good players who just didn't quite be the standout that they were critically important. So I think there are guys that deserve more attention, and it would be an interesting concept for for you to follow through and see, well, what kind of support would the idea get among the Boy Green faithful, and who do you have in mind?
Yeah, oh well, I'll definitely answer that. I will tell you that I think this is we can. I think both can exist. I think Phil Yum's Ring of Honor for the fans, and then a Ring of Honor for the Jets that don't get enough love.
Right.
I think we can do that. The one that jumps out to 100%. The one that stands out to me is a player that spent his entire career with the Jets, his full career with the Jets. He spent 9 years with the New York Jets. I don't think he's not ever going to the Pro Football Hall of Fame, and he's a borderline actual Ring of Honor guy if the Jets would ever consider putting him in. That man is Bilal Powell, a former 4th-round draft choice out of Louisville. He was a do-it-all man for the Jets. He was a man of the people. He was a running back. He was a receiver out of the backfield. He was a return man specialist. A handful of times due to injuries, he got the opportunity to be the lead back for the Jets and had a couple of 700-plus rushing yard seasons. So again, he spent all 9 of his years with the Jets. He's a man of the people. We'll eventually get him on the show. I see he does a lot of podcast interviews. It'd be great to connect with Bilal in that way. We almost did a charity thing together a bunch of years ago, so we'll definitely get him on the show. And yeah, to me, Bilal Powell is my man. I would nominate, if I had one name to nominate to kick off this thing, it would be Bilal Powell.
And it brings to mind somebody else for me, and I'm trying to look up his name. Sorry, guys, but when you get to be 70 years old, certain words or names or things start to make it very difficult for you. But the Jets had an offensive lineman, a guard, who played for them, I believe, for 10 or 11 years. He played in the Rex Ryan era.
Okay, then I know it for you then. Okay.
Go ahead. But anyway, he was a stalwart, and he never got any recognition. I think he might have been invited to play in the Pro Bowl, maybe once, maybe twice. But as far as I recall, he was their right guard. And he was there game in and game out, for a decade.
Brandon Moore, is that who you're talking about?
Yep.
Okay, there you go. Brandon Moore.
He was a terrific offensive lineman.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, there are a lot of guys, that could be, singled out for a special credit. And in fact, I'll bet you, and I'd be glad to try to help you do this, that anybody that we can come up with and elect, that I could probably try to get them to come on the show and accept their honor. How's that for an idea?
Well, that would be terrific. And for those who don't remember, Brandon Moore is a phenomenal story, and I'm glad that you brought him up, Bob. He played for the Jets from 2003 through 2012. He signed with the Jets as an undrafted free agent in 2002, and then briefly went to play for the Scottish Claymores. There you go. That's a team based in Scotland, and he came back to the National Football League after a brief stint over there. When he was in college, he played at Illinois. He was a defensive tackle in college, and then the Jets converted him to the other side of the ball as an offensive lineman, and that worked out beautifully for his career. He had a long career in the NFL, mostly with the Jets. He did have a cup of coffee with the Dallas Cowboys at the end. But yeah, I love Brandon Moore. He's someone that never gets love. People even forget when they name that famous Rex Ryan offensive line of DeBrickashaw, Ferguson, Allen, Faneca, Nick Mangold. Who's that right guard guy? And oh yeah, Damian Woody. That happens all the time. Brandon Moore does not get that love. Former team captain. I love the Brandon Moore shout out there.
Hey, is Bart Scott in the Ring of Honor?
He is definitely not in the Ring of Honor.
Yeah. Oh, no. There's another guy.
Okay, I mean, let me actually pull it up here.
Yeah, or even the guy we're going to try to bring in from Denver, to be our defensive coordinator.
Jim Leonard.
Yeah,
so here are
Leonard was an absolute key to Rex's defense.
100%. So here it is. I'll throw this up on the screen. Shout out to Wikipedia, who has this in a nice little form or fashion here. I'm going to throw this up on the screen. These players you're about to see on your screen are members of the Ring of Honor, and I'll also highlight for the ones that are members of the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Some obviously crossover in both categories here. But here it is. All of these players that are on your screen, and here they are all in the Jets Ring of Honor, and I'll read them out in a second. The ones that are highlighted in gold are both in the Jets Ring of Honor and, of course, the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Real quick, the ones that are in both, that's Joe Namath, Curtis Martin, Joe Klecko, Darrell Revis, Don Maynard, Winston Hill, Weeb Eubank, and Kevin Mawai. Those are the ones that are in both Ring of Honor and Hall of Fame. But the Ring of Honor includes Larry Grantham, Freeman McNeil, Wesley Walker, Marty Lyons, Leon Hess as an owner, Matt Snell. He was inducted in 2015. DeBrickashaw Ferguson, Jerry Philbin, Al Toon, Mark Gastineau, Wayne Corbett, Emerson Boozer, and Nick Mangold. Mangold, Ferguson, and Revis were the most recent inductees that happened back in 2022. So that is your list.
You could take Brandon Moore, and you could also add Dave Herman to that, because Dave Herman saved the Jets the Super Bowl season. They didn't have a right tackle who could go in and really stop the left defensive ends of other teams. And Dave Herman stepped up first in the Heidi game and then against the Raiders in the championship game. And everybody kind of knows that he was the guy who was told, you stop Bubba in the Super Bowl game. And he did.
I think, Bob, what we're going to do, the more I'm sort of thinking about your idea that you've just presented, I think what I'm going to want to do is put together a committee. And I think that you should certainly be on said committee. And I'll vet out other people in the Boy Green Coffee Club that I think are deserving of this.
Yep.
And when people are nominated, and they could do that with Boy Green Coffee Club memberships, we'll figure all that out. Then you guys will sort of debate in the room. And maybe there's some prerequisites to your point. They need to play at least 3 years for the Jets to be considered, because there are players like, here's a random example, Brandon Marshall. Okay. He is the greatest single season in Jets franchise history for a receiver. He had 109 catches, 1,502 yards, and 14 touchdowns in 2015. Those are all the best numbers a Jets receiver has ever had in the history of this football team. But he was here for just a flash. It was 2 years that Brandon Marshall was here for the Jets, just missing your cutoff. So there could be other rules that are associated. So I would love it.
And we can start with a more severe limitation, like make it 5 years to start, and as you go along, you go to people who only played 4 years. But I mean, here's another one. You know, again, for me, George Sauer Jr.
Yeah, of course.
George Sauer Jr. on the other side of the field, you know, with Maynard, you know, whatever side they were on, they were usually on opposite ends. And again, in the Super Bowl, because Maynard was the decoy that the Colts didn't realize wasn't able to really to run, George Sauer had a field day. So, you know, there's boy, I don't think we'd have any trouble coming up with 30 names or more to start from. And then that's a great idea. Have a committee and come together. And, you know, and Briga, who's been around as long as me, would be a very key guy to have on there, because he saw these guys. And Neil doesn't go as far back, but he goes pretty far back. And that sort of thing. So there are obvious guys that, you know, that could be part of it. And maybe there are just other players here from Boy Green Daily who are kind of historians in their own way. So,
by the way, here's a clear oversight. Where the hell is the soldier of peace? Where's Abdul Salam? We have 3 of the 4 New York Sack Exchange members, but Abdul doesn't make it. And the thing that grinds my gears, it's one of the things that if someone really wants to get me going, it's when we induct people posthumously that, like, you know, to the Hall of Fame or Ring of Honor. So like, oh, they're dead. Oh, they're back in the news. Hey, let's get them into the Hall of Fame. Why, if they were deserving when they're dead, they were certainly deserving before they were dead, outside of obviously tragic scenarios, right? So like Nick Mangold passes away far too soon, and there's a chance he can eventually get into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. That one, of course, doesn't count. But I think in a general sense, when these old guys are just hanging on for dear life and then they pass away, we're like, oh, there we go. Let's get that guy in. That grinds my gears. But like Abdul Salam, he should be in the Jets Ring of Honor, but he will never, unfortunately, be alive to see it if it ever happens. How the hell are 3 of the 4 in, but you don't get the 4th guy in? Ah, terrible.
Yeah, no, it's true. It's true. So, And you know what? It would get some nice extra publicity for Boy Green and probably help you even build your viewership and your membership even more, which nobody really cares about. But, that's not the reason to do it. But, hey, what the heck? I think it'd be workable.
Yeah, okay. What's that? This Ring of Honor, you're saying?
Yeah.
I agree.
We
My juices are flowing now.
We got to come up with a cool name for it.
100%. Got to get like a graphic, and then like we can have induction classes, and there's got to be proper time. Oh,
You know what? Here's the idea. You can induct them here live on Boy Green Daily.
Yeah, but again, I think they have to be vetted out by the committee. It can't simply be someone nominating them, and we just go, sure, all right, that random guy's in. I think there has to be a committee that really battles, and people have cases, and that you really, sometimes I'm sure it'll be easy, right? We just mentioned Abdul Salam. I don't know who this committee is because we haven't even made it yet. But whoever that committee goes, I'm not so sure. I don't think he should be in. Okay, I don't think anyone's going to be saying that. So some cases may be easier, but that's just like the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Peyton Manning comes along. All right, first ballot. That's pretty clear. But other guys are like, oh, that's right on the edge of the Hall of really good or the Hall of does he make it? And nostalgic reasons, impact, all these other factors. I guess you guys will be going through here. And
so first we have to figure out exactly how do we start to build a committee.
100%. We got to work on that. And I see that there's a shout out here. Again, we'll do more of this when we get closer to this, but we will make this happen. I see DJ is making a shout out for David Harris. I love David Hitman Harris. We've had a lot of great linebackers. Yep. Mo Lewis. Where's Mo Lewis? Should he be clearly in the Ring of Honor, right? Like, obviously. So that's another clear oversight. But I think the Jets, and this is good and bad, right? It's good because it's wonderful to have a lot of great players at a singular position, but bad because like then sometimes people get lost in the sauce. But from Larry Grantham to David Harris to Mo Lewis, like man, they've had, and we can get Bart Scott at someone.
Hey, don't forget Wahoo McDaniel.
Of course, give some Wahoo McDaniel action. Absolutely. Tip of the cap there. We've had some great linebackers in our history. So, again, I love David Hitman Harris. He would totally be very high on my list. But
he was terrific, and he earned the nickname Hitman.
That's for sure. So, folks, be ready. That sounds like a super exciting thing, and we'll work on that behind the scenes and make sure we have it ready for a full launch. So it is, we have it with graphics and names and everything else. So, Bob, excellent idea.
Seriously speaking, I think we can get a good number of these people to come on as guests.
Oh, that'd be really cool.
We may have to do it on tape. I don't know how many people are going to get up at 6:30 in the morning, but I think we can get them and we can make it into a regular feature. I agree. Let's look at that. I'm glad you like the idea.
Because, as we're just sort of talking about it here, so it'd be cool because then we get to talk to some of these Jets legends. I think they'd be tickled by the idea of like, wow, you're giving me some love. And maybe, it's going to sound super egotistical maybe, but maybe our little show of potential, let's say Jericho Cotry. I see that name. I love Jericho.
Name. Yeah, what a great name. Yeah.
So I see him. He's getting popular in comments. What if we're able to get him in our Ring of Honor, whatever name we call it, and then the Jets hear all the buzz about it? Go, you know what? We should do that. And that maybe we can inspire some name suggestions. Hey, the Jets don't induct names all the time. Like I said, the last class was 3 years ago. And before that, I think it was 9 years ago. So it's not a regular thing that they're inducting people into, despite the fact there's a lot of people that are worthy. So hopefully we can create some buzz for the Jets. That would also be a nice little benefit there. So yes, Bob, we're going to work on this and Philium. We'll work on your version too. I think both are going to be spectacular. So the idea has only grown on me since we've been doing this show today, Bob. It's terrific. Good. All right, Bob, before we get to the phone lines, there's one more thing I have to ask you, and shout out to the 300 people that are in the room. Guys, make sure you guys like the video and hit subscribe. That's a free way to contribute as we chase to 10,000 subscribers. Bob, we have Jets Saints this weekend. I want you to shoot me straight. The Saints I know what you want to happen, but what you want to happen, what actually may happen, may be the same thing, but it may be different. How are you feeling going into this one? The Saints are a 4.5-point favorite. They're at home. They're hot. They've won 2 in a row and 3 of 5, and they've beaten quality opponents. They swept the Carolina Panthers. They beat the Buccaneers. Both those teams beat the Jets. A plus B doesn't always equal C, but the Saints are playing very well right now. And the Jets clearly are not playing well, getting their teeth kicked down their throat in the last couple of games. So what do you think happens? Do the Jets actually lose in your mind, or is there a chance for an upset win?
There's always a chance for an upset because, as Pete Rozelle liked to say, on any given Sunday, any team can beat any other team. But you made the key point. in your last part of the question, and that is the Saints have beaten some quality opponents in recent weeks.
Yes.
And look at Carolina. Carolina's a darn good team. And the Saints, they didn't manhandle them, but they beat them. And I've been to the Superdome. The Superdome, when it's full, boy, it is noisy in there. And they've got a real home field advantage. And they've got a hot young quarterback, who the league hasn't figured out yet. And we've got a rather lame defense. The only thing we might have going for us with the defense is the rah-rah that the Jet defenders may feel, for their new interim defensive coordinator, which, by the way, I think he's a nice choice. I don't know what he can really accomplish in 3 games, but here in Chicago, he's a revered player too. He'd be in the Bears Ring of Honor, second Ring of Honor. He was a really good defensive back. So I'm always wrong. So I'm picking the Jets on Sunday.
Oh, I see. Nice. Reverse jinx. That's a good strategy, Bob. And for those folks who forget, Chris Harris, as a member of Bears, intercepted Peyton Manning in that Super Bowl. So he has that on the docket. Maybe he could share some of those energies with the Jets this weekend, who have failed to record an interception.
This is not a week for us to be intercepting anything. No, in fact, I want Green, I want the record. I want to go 17 games without interception, because when we come back next year, it would just show how much we are. We might get 2 interceptions in the first game, and the world will collapse in amazement.
It's funny the honeymoons that happen, right? Because we'll go to the phone lines, I promise, folks, coming up here. But the Jets hire Adam Gase. No one wanted Adam Gase. They hire Adam Gase, and it's going to be a disaster. He gets fired eventually after 2 years, and we hire Robert Saleh. And whatever Robert Saleh did, we're like, this guy can walk on water. Yeah.
Don't let him out of the building. Don't let him out of the building.
100%. It was an automatic honeymoon period that existed because the previous thing was so bad. So to your point, we have this unbelievable, crazy interception drought, which, by the way, if the Jets don't record an interception on Sunday, they'll own every interception record that exists of most consecutive games without an interception, most consecutive games to start a season without an interception. Like, they would check off every bucket list that exists. The only one I suppose remaining is going an entire season without it, which I guess has never happened before. So that would be historic.
Let's stop talking about it. I don't want to jinx them.
Okay. Let's not. All right, folks. Again, make sure you guys like the video, hit subscribe. We're about to open up the phone lines. If you guys would like to call in on a variety of topic matters, Jets losing Tony Adams, signing Hendon Hooker, Garrett Wilson, Jeremy Ruckert extension, the Ring of Honor. All of that is fair game. We'll play a quick cap timeout, and then your phone calls will be welcome next right here on Boy Green Daily.
1, 2, 3. Whoa! Boy Green Daily, Boy Green Daily, Boy Green Daily. Talking Jets football, man. All right. Boy Green Daily, Boy Green Daily, Boy Green Daily. The New York Jets Football Club. Offense, defense, special teams, watch Jets football with Boy Green. Everyone, Jets, Jets. Boy Green Daily, Boy Green Daily, Boy Green Daily. Talking Jets football, man. All right. Boy Green Daily, Boy Green Daily, Boy Green Daily. Nice. Offense, defense, special teams, watch Jets football with Boy Green. Jets, Jets. Let's go!
Folks, we'll open up the phone lines in just a second. We're having a slight technical difficulty, so I'll get those phone lines open in just a minute so you guys can have every opportunity to call into the program, which we appreciate. It is December 19th. We're less than a week from Christmas, so make sure you get that shopping in, folks, and your last-second gift ideas and things of that nature. We have over 300 people in the room, but real quick, as we're trying to figure out this call-in link technical difficulty here on the program, I want to give a shout-out to our raffle. If you're new to the channel, again, my name is Paul Esden Jr. My nickname nickname is Boy Green. I'm the Jets digital reporter for Heavy.com. This is your community, folks. If you're a New York Jets fan, you're in the right place. This is a Jets community where we talk about news, rumors, analysis every single day at 7:30 in the morning, plus a bunch of other times too with our live watch parties and more. And like I said, we do a raffle every single month here on the channel. Here in December, we're doing a Jet Santa Funko Pop. There you go. The festive season, perhaps. A Nick Mangold tribute shirt. A True Jet 74. I bought that shirt from the Jets, and 100% of those proceeds went to the National Kidney Foundation, which unfortunately is the reason we lost Mangold. So that shirt's in the mix. The Jet Santa Funko Pop. We have our Boy Green Woody tailgate package. If you missed our tailgate live, we're going to ship the tailgate in a box. The only thing that's missing is the booze and the food. So all of that is to come as well. So if you guys would like to be involved with that, all you have to do is hit that little money sign on YouTube. It's down near the comment section, and click that button. Super chat, super stickers, gift channel memberships, all of that will be welcomed here on the program as well. We also have Bob Lederer, my co-host extraordinaire, here on the program. So excellent. Again, as we're trying to figure out these technical difficulties, I think I'm going to have to get creative here, Bob, to open up the phone lines. We're having a few issues on my side over here, so I will do that in a unique fashion, folks. Hang on tight, and we'll open that up. All right,
you see, Boy Green is just not just another pretty face. He's got other things he can do.
That's true. So, if I was available and not engaged, I would be flexing my muscles on that for the rest of time. By the way, randomly, as I'm about to fix this call-in situation so you guys can call in a second, it looks like that Matthew Stafford guy still has it, Bob.
Yeah, and I know there has been speculation about maybe the Jets should go get Matthew Stafford, but he's not leaving Los Angeles to come to us, even if the Rams get trade for Burrow. And by the way, one of my niece's husband lives here in Chicago, but he hails from Cincinnati. And I went up to him last Sabbath, and I said to him, wow, we're going to get your quarterback. He wants out of Cincinnati. And he looked at me and he said, you're an idiot. He's not going anywhere. I said, what do you mean? He said, you know why he was so upset this week? I said, why? Because his gorgeous girlfriend dumped him. Mm-hmm. And he just can't get over that. And I said, well, I can relate to that, I guess, although I haven't been dumped too many times, but I'm only 73. And my wife, I'm sure, has had some thoughts along those lines over the years. But anyway, he claimed to me seriously that his whole morose bit that showed up in the press is all basically, or not all, but more so than anything else, of a personal nature, and that he was having trouble emotionally dealing, with the breakup, with his girlfriend. So I don't know if he's going anywhere. I think it's an interesting concept that Cincinnati might be willing to do it, but I don't really understand fully why they would, because it's so hard to get a quarterback the quality of Burrow. So, we'll see.
All right. Apparently the call-in link I attempted did not work, so I will attempt another. Oh, wait. No, it looks like it did. All right. Philly Noodles is a big fat liar. That's good to know. Good. That's good to know. I was about to say, I thought I tested it out. It worked, but, all right. So let's bring him in. I just revealed it. It is Philly Noodles. That doesn't work, Paul. Yeah. Okay. All right. Philly Noodles.
No, I had to. I don't know. It kept crashing. That's really weird. Yeah. What's going on, Bob? How you doing? Good morning.
I'm good, Philly. How are you?
I'm not bad. Just trying to hash out something.
In mind for our secondary Ring of Honor?
Yeah, I mean secondary. Come on, dude. First off,
right? We need a good name. We
do need a good name. We lack
for the second Ring of Honor.
Yeah, so here it is. So there is a real Jets Ring of Honor. Well, obviously, we have nothing to do with that. So we're going to make like a Jet Boy Green version, whatever we want to call it. I don't care what the name is, but something interesting for us. So we will induct people into this Ring of Honor. We'll have a committee to debate whether they're not worthy. And they're actual real Jet players that people think should be honored, but they aren't, actually in the Jets Ring of Honor. So we're highlighting everybody else, basically.
And if you have a few extra shekels to throw Boy Green's way, we can get you on that committee.
Oh,
let's go. Let's go. Nick Folk twice.
That's good.
Yeah, absolutely. That's another great name.
Artist formerly known as Nick Folk, and then Nick Folk.
I'll one up you with Jim Turner. You know,
Okay, there you go. I like
Tim
that.
Turner was the kicker on the Super Bowl team. He set kicking records that year for most points. That held up for like 10 years until they went from a 12-game season to a 14-game season.
Oof.
Yeah. What about Pat Leahy? Pat Leahy.
Pat Leahy. I've seen that. I remember seeing that guy a little bit. Let's go with.
Like, here's a guy, and again, it's the perfect line.
Thomas
Not
Hennessy.
a Hall of Famer, but like he's sort of like Sean Ellis. I think Sean Ellis.
Oh yeah, Sean Ellis would be great.
Like Big Cat. Why wouldn't he be in the conversation? I'm sure. And these are just names coming off the top of my head, but
there'd be
sure
a lot of people.
Others.
Well, that's the thing. It'd be it's such a broad amount of people.
Well, that's why you have a committee that elects people.
Correct. So we'd have like, I don't know. Well, again, we'll have to work out all the particulars later, but let's say there's 10 nominees. That's probably too many, but 10 nominees, and then the committee weighs it. And maybe we have all these rules. Only 3 can get in or we do it once a year. Is it every 3 months? What is it? And
I'll be dead by the time you get to the end of that list.
Well,
exactly. So we'll have to work on those rules. Yeah.
If we go solely based off of contracts, Jeremy Ruckett's obviously in there. Because we've grossly overpaid him. Grossly overpaid. Way too much money. 4.6% of $108 million. Yeah, you're overpaid, dude.
Yeah,
way overpaid, bro.
Hey, Philly, he would have been in big demand. I'm telling you.
I would be, man, I would have been fired according to the fan base if I would have just gave him the 5.5. Just get it over with. That's the extra you need. You know, he might overperform on purpose to add another $500,000.
You know, to me, his blocking, he must be a one-man offensive line to be making $5 million a year.
Listen, I'm objective on it because what are you telling me? All right, so Luke Farrell, he had a pretty good last 2 years, not this year's season, and Foster Moreau around the same amount of money. He had a good last year, not a good this year. So really?
And let me ask you real quick, because I don't know that. Are those 2 names you mentioned starting tight ends?
That's a great question.
So that's my
Foster
point.
Moreau is not.
Because so yeah, I don't think Foster was either because they have Taysom Hill and all these other Juwan Johnson, all these other
Juwan Johnson. That's right.
But that's the other thing. I'm so it's the money and look at the stats, which by the way are all career highs. Thank you very much, Derby Rucker, catches, yards, and touchdowns. But they're saying, look at the stats, they suck. Hello, Mason Taylor. Nice to meet you. How you doing? What do you mean? Come on.
Mason's the starter.
Exactly. That's my point.
My thing. Okay, who's going to shake loose? Tyler Conklin becomes a free agent again. We're not going down that road again. Let's just be honest with ourselves. We just got to be honest with ourselves. It's not a gross overpay when it's 2 years and then 2 years down the road, a serviceable tight end may cost you more. The cap's only going up. It's just reality. It is what it's business. It is what it is. Oh, maybe he got a little hometown kick because of who he is and where he's coming from. Whoop-de-doo. If it sells them extra jerseys, what the do they care? It's business again. You know, we have to take that into consideration. I know we want player over business, but if that was the case, I mean, I'd be rich, and I had my thoughts would make me the richest man in America. I'd be the happiest dude in the world if they went and traded for Joe Burrow and it only costed 1 pick. That's not reality, people. Everything comes at a price.
Career high. You don't have to put in quotes. It's real. Career high. You don't have to laugh at poor Jeremy.
Me and him are going back and forth on that. You know, but it is what it is. I listen. I'll give him his credit due when he made a couple points, and I'm making a couple points. It all just hits where 4.6% cannot shake this fan base of $108 million.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, Bob. What do you think? Is that? Come on, 4.6%.
Yeah,
of $108 million.
Like people are yelling about our tight end.
So it's about $5 million.
Yeah. Right, and he's saying, should we be yelling about it? Basically, that's what we have a few.
The average. I just looked it up. The average. I mean, there's a lot of guys making between $14 and $19 million.
Those are great
starting.
That's right. Good starting time.
The average starting tight end is making 8, which means the really cruddy ones are making much less.
4, 3, 5.
Sure. Yeah, but every team needs a second, in some cases, depending on your offense, a third tight end. And the second and the third guys are usually blockers.
Mm-hmm. So, let's hope Mason Taylor outweighs his contract way better. Let's say he plays another level. Okay, so then at that point we're like, Who gives a shit how much we gave Rucker? This guy's so much better on a rookie contract. So Rucker was getting paid shit money, bro. He's getting like $200 and some $1,000 a season, bro. Like, everybody relax, man.
And let me readjust. Let me readjust. I told Yo Holmes that he was yelling. Squawk. Let me switch it to squawking. I think that's the better word I'm looking for. Squawking for 500, Alex. Let me just a quick.
Well, obviously, if we didn't have $111 million ready to play Monopoly with,
yes, we would have never did that.
Yeah, we wouldn't give him $5 million.
No, that's right.
Right now, it doesn't really. Right now, it's not going to make a dent at all.
That's right. So I wanted to bring up someone brought into light. Whatever talk about Pavia, maybe to the Jets, maybe it's like a smoke screen. Anyone else beyond,
folks.
Smoke screen.
What I think we all need in this life, it's good for your sink. It's good for other things in your life. It's called a filter, people. Okay, when rumors and things float through the universe. What I like to do as a Jets consumer, especially someone who does podcasts, is I want to make sure when I hear a rumor, I know where it came from. Like, okay, I hear we did a show yesterday, right? Bob was he was talking about the smitten thing. I heard smitten from someone else and they didn't cite where it came from. I wasn't just going to say, hey, do you know somewhere on the internet the Jets were smitten with Fernando? What I wanted to do is, let me hear the clip. When we find where it came from, let me hear the clip. Did it come from a legitimate person? And then once I tracked all that down, I found the video podcast. It wasn't advertised. I'm like, let me scan this 2-hour podcast. They apparently said it somewhere in here. I'm like, let me skip to the Fernando second. Okay, boom. It's a legitimate thing. This how do you pronounce this last name again, Philly?
Pavia.
This Pavia guy, right? So a fake account tweeted out that the Jets are in love or something with Pavia, and it went viral. And I look at it, I'm like, people, this is fake. But it didn't matter. The phone game had already started. Yes, I've also heard from sources confirmed that they're in love with Pavia.
It is so easy to be fooled because this week, again, I'm a big Mets fan, and so I'm looking all day about rumors about the Mets, and somebody puts up something on Twitter that says that the Mets have traded Ronnie Mauricio, who is one of their to San Diego for this Japanese left-hand pitcher that they have. And they
I don't know, man. We like our Japanese players.
Well, they cite as a source, and it seems logical, it sounds real. They cite as a source the baseball writer that covers the San Diego Padres in San Diego, and a guy named Bob Nightingale, who is considered a real insight guy in the California area. And so I call up my best friend, who's also a Met fan, said, hey, did you hear about the deal they made? And about 5-6 hours later, I'm looking around to see, where's the other, confirming stuff? There is nothing. And so I just did a search, and lo and behold, there's no such deal.
Fake.
Being made. It's all fake. And my son chides me all the time. Dad, you are so easy to fool.
Yeah.
Well, and just real quick, I just want to go to Philium here. So, because Philium is one of the other detractors to the Rucker contract. He doesn't think it was a gross overpay, but he thinks it was an overpay. He explained that yesterday when he called in. And he says this. That's exactly the point. Just because we have the money doesn't justify overpaying. And I'm not yelling or losing my mind. And I'm not saying you are, Philium. What I want to say is this, though. I don't think two things. We can't quantify what Jeremy Ruckert is worth. And what do I mean by that? The Jets value him as a fullback, a tight end two, a blocker. A lot of that is intangible numbers. It's not, when a guy has 100 catches for 1,500 yards, 20 touchdowns, it's easy to quantify their worth. Look at those numbers. Look at the Pro Bowl. Look at this. It's harder to quantify for Jeremy. Here's the second thing none of us can prove. Everyone says it's an overpay. Based on what? Are you speaking with his agent? Have you spoken with the tight end market that's about to come out in free agency? And you know that, Jeremy Ruckert would have only made $2.93 million on the open market, but the Jets paid $5 million. None of us know. There's a lot of sort of made up malarkey here.
He may be one of Glenn's guys, again, considering what Glenn said about him during training camp.
It's okay.
And the progress he's made this year.
And he did say that, right?
And again, if he's going to make $5, and the average salary for a starter is $8, if he's that good a backup, and we have no way of making a judgment about it.
Of course not.
Then $5 may not be an overpay much at all, if at all.
Right.
So I'll say these
all I'm
last two
saying
things.
is, and just real quick, all I'm saying
Yeah.
is, I'm not a genius. Well, maybe I am, but in this specific case, I don't know 100% whether it was an overpay or not an overpay. But what I'm saying is, no one does. We don't know what he would have been worth on the open market. Everyone gets overpaid, so I assume whatever his number was would have been higher in free agency, because that's what it is basically for everybody. So the Jets decided that we want to lock in our tight end too and give us a floor. I think the floor is important heading into this, because now, especially with Mason's injury, it's a neck, and I hope and pray that everything's okay. When I see neck on the injury report, it scares the shit out of me. When you immediately rule guys out in multiple weeks with injury, but he's not on IR, I'm like, oh, it's so sketchy. I hope Mason's okay. But let's say anything is serious with Mason. What tight end do you have on the team? Stone Smart? Yeah, he's a free agent. Yeah, I don't think so. So I think what Jeremy gives you is a nice floor. And every time he's been called upon this season, Jeremy record has been solid. He's had 20 catches on 23 targets. It's been massive improvement for what Jeremy record is. Yes, Holmes, 163 yards, career high. LOL. Sure, fine. It's not going to shock the world. But to be honest, I think we're talking about relatively inconsequential, if it even is an overpay.
Yeah. So real quick, the last two things I'll bring up is, if we believe in Moogie and what Moogie has done, then his foresight would be something we would value. So if his foresight is, I'm just going to snatch him up now in Myers, the both of them, because I know for backups, they're going to command the room. They're going to be looked at on a higher list.
And it's going to be multiple teams in demand for them. And so that's going to kick up the price too.
Correct. And then last thing I'll say is, Bob, this is especially to you.
Ooh, okay.
There's a date here. December 28th. That's a Sunday at 4:05. The most important game of the season. It's the shit bowl. The Giants versus the Raiders. Who will be the number 1 overall pick? We want the Giants to lose.
I have to go into my computer banks to see what I've got to go check ChatGPT. I got to check and several others and ask them what's the likely outcome. But I will be riveted to the screen.
Hey, Philly, before you go, someone has requested to get into the octagon with you. So here we go. Yeah. Well,
he's here. Get out of here.
It's Philliam.
Oh, Philliam. Okay,
we go. Let's go.
Philliam, I respect the crap out of you. Let's go, bud.
No, thank you. And listen, this is not about octagon. This is nothing like.
Sorry.
No,
Ring.
Okay, Philly, nothing like that at all. I love you. I respect you too. Okay. The only reason I called and the only reason I wrote what I wrote was 10 seconds before I wrote it. You guys both agreed that if we didn't have $111 million, you wouldn't pay him that, right? Those words just came out of your mouth, right? That's exactly my point. Just because we have it doesn't mean you overspend. And I'm not freaking out. I'm not pounding on the table. This is a horrible thing. None of that, okay? But I think both him and Myers, if they had gone free agency, I don't think they get what they got from us. No big deal. I'm not freaking. Both of these guys can help us. You got interior line depth with Myers, Ruckert, all the things that have been said here. I got no major beef with it. I just I don't like the mentality. We got all this money. The other day, you yourself, my friend, $25 million for Letterman. Who fucking cares? Who fucking cares? It ain't my money. It's not the point. Not the point. That's all I'm saying, bro.
And one quick follow-up here that I just want to sort of sprinkle in here. And for this contract and money conversation, because me and Philly said, or Bob said as well, that if they didn't have the money, maybe they wouldn't pull the trigger, which would seem to suggest that the Jets are being a little willy-nilly here. The counter would be this, is that, do we need a tight end too? I mean, someone literally has to play that position. And if I have $110 million, I have the assets to just knock that out right now. If I have $10, so over the last couple of months, there was a moment where I miscalculated something in my own personal finances. And I'm like, I don't have the money to spend that I normally would. I would love to do this thing I want to do, but I'm not going to do it because it's just going to be too risky. But I would have done it normally. So it's not that I overpaid for the activity, but I didn't want to do the activity because of the money. The fact that I would have had the money, I would have done the activity. So I don't know if that's hitting for what I'm saying.
Yeah, I hear you.
I don't think it the fact that we're saying that we might not have done it if we didn't have 110 million, I don't think that immediately says that it was a clear overpay. It was just that tight end 2 wouldn't have been at the top of my priority list if I only had $20 million. I would have chosen other things that were more important than tight end 2, if that makes sense, Philly.
If you can knock it out of the budget early, then you might as well. Because let's say Philly, so I'll put it into perspective. Let's say he hit the market. Let's just say just Ruckert now. Mm-hmm. He hits the market, and we're hearing speculation. All right, well, they're hearing speculation because tight end 2 speculation is not even usually a real thing, right? But you start hearing a little scuttlebutt. He's young. He played in, he's a good tight end. He's athletic. He can block some bit. He's utility.
Coming off a good year, the best year of his career, right?
Yeah. He's there when the bell rings, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Let's say any other team across who can use tight ends, which they almost all do, are like, you know what? Let's throw him this deal. If it's only 500 or $1 million more, it's not even an overpay at that point for $1 million. Overpay to me would be if he hit the open market and we were doubling his pay, meaning if like he was worth 3 and we paid 6, yeah, then we can have a problem. So let's say he hits the market, he's worth 3.5, 4, and we paid 1.5 more. I don't know.
Listen, like I said, man, life is way too short to get bogged down over this. Trust me. I mean, I just made a comment based on when the contracts were announced, and there was people in the chat saying it was a gross overpay. Some people were freaking, whatever. Okay, and all I said was, and I stand by it, I think both Myers and him probably got paid more than they would have as free agents. Not a big deal, not pounding the table, not losing my mind, not freaking out. Okay. I just think they, but again, we don't know if that's the case, and we never will because they signed them. Okay. So the point is mute, and I get it, man.
Right.
I get it. I'm a fiscal conservative. All right. Okay. I want to be careful. I don't want to overspend. I don't want to take the approach that if I got the extra money, so what? Because that kind of snowballs. And man, you go through 100 million really fast in this league. So, I honestly didn't even want to get into this. I really did.
But it's okay. But you may not have the answer to this, Philly, but I'll ask it anyway. So there's some conversation that the Jets potentially overpaid here for Jeremy Ruckert and, for that matter, Josh Myers. What do you think their true value was? If this was an overpay in any form or fashion, what do you think they were actually worth?
Well, again, this is what I said yesterday. Okay. I think they got more than they would have on the open market. If you look at PFF, they're both at the bottom of the rankings for their positions. I don't know what they would have got. Okay. This seems a little rich to me. And in both cases, I've said this now like 100 times. Right? I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm not freaking out. But I do think they both were probably paid more than they would have gotten on the open market. That's all. If you feel like they added enough value, and like to your point, Philly, if it's an extra $500,000 to keep a guy you want to keep, I got no problem with that. It's what prompted me to even get involved in this is the ranting and raving about, we got so much money to spend. We got all this money to spend. That doesn't mean you spend it unwisely. That's all.
By the way, the salary cap for this year is $279 million. The estimate for next year is between 295 and 305.
Jesus.
Yeah, I get that. And people always talk about how the salary cap goes up every year. As soon as the salary cap goes up, so does the average price for every player's position, especially the good ones, okay? You got 50, 60 million for quarterbacks. You got 30, 40 million for receivers. You got 3 guys that take up a third of the salary cap every year before you get started filling in and backups. And, I had this discussion last year with Boy Green about it. I'm like, if you just go, take groups like offensive line, defensive line, then you go to your secondary, then you go, you run out of money real fast. You know why everybody plays games with the salary cap, with the futures and the void years and all that? Because everybody spends more than the salary cap every fucking year.
Yeah.
Technically, Technically, they do. If you take the players' averages, they're always spending over the cap. They're just finding ways to push it off into the future, or they pull it forward with the signing bonus. They amortize it over a long time so that the salary cap gets a hit of $5 million a year for 5 years instead of 25 for one. No matter how you slice it, everybody spends more than the salary cap already.
Which is why next to the general manager, the highest paid and most valued member of the front office is the salary cap guy.
100%. And I would also say this for the people in the audience that I don't know, because I don't have this data on my mind, nor did I have it in my head. Luke Farrell, right? When did he sign his contract versus now? The market changes for what a tight end is. Even if Luke Farrell and Jeremy Rucker are the same thing, if he got paid 2 years ago, $5 million a year, and then now we fast forward to 2025, he'd get paid more now because the market's the market's different. The same player is going to make more money, especially with the cap going up every year. So that's another factor as well. But I will just say, when people ask, Bob said at the beginning of the show, Paul, well, what are you going to talk about every day on Boy Green Dailies? Every day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, and all of a sudden we're talking about our tight end two getting a 2-year deal for $10 million. That's what we're going to talk about, baby. Yes.
Right. Now,
to put a final bow on it, if I can, it really is for me. What got me involved and got me to write this, it was just this sort of cavalierness that I've been hearing, for months now about how we're going to have all this money. We got all this money. We got all this money. It goes really fast, and if you're not smart with it, a fool and his money is quickly separated.
Very fair. Philliam, thank you so much, Philliam.
Who is the highest paid backup tight end in the National Football League?
I don't know.
The first answer that came up was Jeremy Rucker.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
In reality, the highest paid backup is Noah Gray of the Chiefs.
Yes, 6.5.
Who has a 3-year, $21 million deal.
Wow. Oh, my God.
He's at 6.5 per year right now, AVG.
Wow. That is
now, I'll just leave it with this. I'm still blank checkbook for Linderbaum, and I think what would be gross is if we find out he hits the open market and he gets paid $18 million, and we didn't want to give another $1 million or $2 million, and we paid Josh Myers. That would be my angry take for
I hear you. That's a good take.
Angry take.
Philliam, you're the best. Thanks, brother.
Peace.
All right, guys.
Have a great weekend and have a Merry Christmas too.
Yeah,
You too,
happy
sir.
holidays as well, Philly.
Alrighty.
Yes, sir. There we go. A lot of Phillium. FL Phil 98, Philly Noodles. We got to fill over.
We can never have enough.
No, we can't. No, we can't. All right, let's go back to the phone lines. You called this guy out, Bob. You named this man, and we go to him, a future member of this committee, Dave Briga.
Hey, good morning, gentlemen.
Hey, what's going on, Dave?
Put on your thinking cap. Oh, I think you already have it on.
There you go.
I'm always thinking, my man. How you doing, Bob? Bob is my
How
contemporary.
do you like my idea?
Which one is that?
So here it was, Dave. Bob suggested that we should come up with on this show. We're name pending. We're working on the name, but a Ring of Honor for the show for Jets players who aren't actually in the real Ring of Honor, but that we should honor. And what we would do is we would build a Boy Green Coffee Club committee where people would be able to nominate names. We'll bring up a random one here. Abdul Salam. He's not actually in the Jets Ring of Honor, but Jet fans, let's say, nominate him and say, you know what, he should be in this Boy Green Ring of Honor, whatever we're going to call it. And then we'd have a committee where you guys debate the merits of every player that gets nominated. So you're like, here are the reasons why I should, here are the reasons why I shouldn't. And some players will come through your guys' committee and you guys go, no, sorry, he's not good enough. Sorry, rejected, declined. He doesn't make it. Some will come through and you guys are like, wow, clearly this guy should be it. Approved. We're trying to come up with a committee. Bob would be on it. He wants you to be on it. And I'll think of some other people so we have fair representation of like who would be interesting people to have on this committee. Is that something you'd be interested in?
Yeah, and I'd like you on the committee because you go far back like I do. And you know those 1960s Jets. So I mentioned guys like Dave Herman. I mentioned guys like John Elliott, Billy Baird, Ralph Baker, George Sauer Jr.
Oh, George, he was terrific.
Yeah,
he was a clutch guy.
Mean, he should be up there. We'd set a parameter. Let's say he had to have played 3 years or 5 years with the Jets, and that would be. But then we would debate. The committee would. All right, let's come up with 10 names for this year to look at, and let's pick 2 or 3
Yeah.
that we want to immediately induct into, this new. We've come up with a better name than Hall of Ring of Honor.
Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe we make it
Man
a
of
Hall. Maybe we
Achievement.
make it a Hall
Jets
of Fame.
of Achievement. All right. New York Jets of Achievement. Those guys in the 60s.
Yeah.
You talk about paying these guys. The old teams, they had the taxi squads.
Yes.
Most of these guys, I think, we're talking about paying, couldn't make the taxi squad.
Mhm.
It's ridiculous. I mean, I'm trusting Muji with his, because you see how he operates. So if he feels those guys he wants to sign them, okay, whatever. He knows. I guess we have to trust him. He's planted a good foundation here with his trades and everything. So I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt. Personally, I wouldn't have signed these guys like they're talking about. Rucker, I call him the teacher's pet. He's there for, he's there for good behavior. He's getting paid for good behavior because most of these guys in the locker room, I guess, we see what's happening. The defense is disintegrated to the point where, it's a horrid defense. So the other guy, Myers, I don't know hey, I'm not on the inside. None of us are. But all I know is, Bob, you saw it before. When we came through the 65, building up to the team was progressing each year. It was progressing. We got to a certain point, and then, we got over the top. And then the next year, we just losing to the Chiefs 13-6 at home, that started the decline. So, I mean, the decline started because Joe Willie was just deteriorating. And you wrote the book. And here's when he first came out of college, Alabama, they said he only had 4 years. Remember, is that accurate, Bob?
Yes. Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
So everybody rags on him because, but they don't realize what condition his body was in. I mean, take a look at the championship game in '68 when he rolled out. I've never seen a player to this day that was hobbling like that on the run. And then he gets a pick and he tackles the guy and it saved the game
Knocks him
to
out
get
of
to the
bounds.
Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So I want these guys to understand what kind of condition he was in. This man was he was just a shell of himself after the Super Bowl and after the '69 championship game. I mean, Bob, you saw it.
Well, part of it, not taking anything away from Joe, but part of it was himself because he didn't take the game quite as seriously. From what the players told me after the Super Bowl, he felt he had kind of reached he had reached the top of Everest.
Yeah.
And so he went back a little bit to playboying and spending nights out and whatever. But the guy had a distinguished career, and we've debated here on the show before, if he doesn't win the Super Bowl, would he have been in the Hall of Fame? And my belief is he would not. But the fact of the matter is he won the Super Bowl.
Right.
He made himself a celebrity. He made the prediction and he backed it up. And so you can never take that away from him. It's like, the debate now about Eli Manning getting into the Hall of Fame. I mean, he won 2 Super Bowls. I don't know how I'm not a Giants fan, but how do you keep Eli Manning out of the Hall of Fame? He won 2 Super Bowls.
He won a big game.
And he was the MVP in both of those Super Bowls. And Eli Manning, and again, I'm not a Giants fan, and he's top 11 in every major passing category, which includes passing touchdowns and passing yards. So some people could say, well, longevity, that could be another Iron Man reason. He played forever until, of course, Jets legend Geno Smith took his starting job, of course, which ended that Iron Man streak. So, yes, he should be.
Eli had a lot of guts. Eli had a lot of guts. But, and I know, Bob, what you say about Joe is true. That game made the NFL what it is today, the modern NFL. And that's why he's in there. But, he was his own worst enemy, and people rag on him because of that. Man, hey, listen, it was a different era. Guys lived a different lifestyle. It wasn't good. They paid the price later in life. And some guys never made it. I mean, you read some of the stories from the 60s, some of those players. I mean, they didn't last to their 50s because of the things they were participating in. Some of them were, I don't want to get into it here, but, it was bad stuff going on.
They were getting killed on special teams. And these guys played with injuries that nobody would play with today because they knew if they didn't play, they would be put on waivers and there was another body ready to take their place.
But it was a different era. Football's a whole different game today. It's a whole different.
And you know
game.
what? You just gave us a great additional idea for this Hall of Fame or whatever, and that is we pick up a different player from a different era.
We're talking about tight ends, right?
Yeah.
Mickey Schuler won
Of
us
course.
games.
Yeah, there's another
Okay.
guy. Yeah.
Mickey's
Mickey
another
Schuler,
great.
this guy, Rucker couldn't shine his shoes. I mean, it's just a different, it's just the way the guys approach the game today. It's a business. This is a business more than it is football. This is business. That's what these guys have to understand. It's just business. They said, it's like they said in The Godfather. It's not personal. It's just business.
For this committee, I think what I would want is, again, both of you guys are well represented. I'd want someone who's maybe in their 40s, maybe something like that for the 2000s and cover some of the 90s. That's fresh in the mind.
Neil's in his 60s, so he's like the next generation.
Right,
after
but
us.
that's what I'm saying. We have layers of everyone that can have a fair perspective on all of it, and I think that would be great. So yes, again, we'll work on that. Okay, gentlemen, I got to take off. So it's good talking to you. Have a good weekend. God bless you all.
You
There he
too.
is, Dave
Go
Briga.
Saints.
I absolutely love Saints. Oh, go Saints. Well, let's go to Go Saints. Here he is.
Good morning, gentlemen. How are you?
Wow. How did I do that?
That's impressive. Yeah. There you go.
2 points and then 2 Jet comments. First of all, the first point, prayers out to the Biffle family. I had an opportunity to meet Greg Biffle a couple of years ago when I lived in Charlotte. I had a lot of friends who worked at NASCAR. So what a horrendous way to die. I read that. I just couldn't believe that was the way he died. And the second point, and this is for you, Boy Green.
Oh.
The rumors of 42-year-old Nikki Bella and 22-year-old Cooper DeJean must have you smiling.
Blessed be he. Nikki Bella, I still watch wrestling. I mean, bless the Father, Son, and the Holy Ghost. She still has it. So Cooper DeJean, God bless, buddy. Nikki Bella is quite a fine.
Go Iowa. Thank you very much. So now my 2 Jet comments.
Okay. Yes.
I'm going to be in the complete minority here.
Ooh, okay. That's probably never happened before.
I hope the Raiders lose out. I
What?
hope the Raiders.
Oh, stop it.
Okay. I want the Raiders to take Mendoza. I want them to make the decision because I think right now it's all roses and daisies and roses or roses. I don't see a guy who's a franchise quarterback in Mendoza. And the rumors now that the Jets are going to be trading 2 1s and a 2 to move up for him. I just want a team who needs a quarterback to take him. So in my opinion, if the Raiders go 2-15, that will make me happy because I want them to make the decision. I don't want us to make the decision.
Alon, I'd like to read you a quote. I don't know if you had a chance to listen to that part of the show yesterday.
I don't read quotes, but I appreciate it. You can read it for me.
Okay, great. Yeah, excellent. So I will do this for you. This was from Dane Brugler, right? So this is what he said about quarterback development, that sort of thing. And he said this, and I found it fascinating because you've said several times that your big thing here with not taking Fernando Mendoza is you don't believe that he could be a top 10 quarterback, yes?
Oh, I did watch his video, but okay, continue.
Okay. Yeah. So just to repeat it for anyone who missed it, this is what old Dane Brugler said about what he thinks about, quarterbacks and what we're hunting for. Quote, I always say this when you talk about quarterbacks. Like, the goal is not to find the next Josh Allen. That's not realistic. That should not be the goal. The goal when drafting a quarterback is to find someone you think could be a top 12 to 14 quarterback in the league. If you feel like you can find one of those guys, that's all you need. Once you find that guy, you're surrounded with talent, coaching, personnel, and you fight for the playoffs every year. Once you get into the playoffs, you win one game at a time, you can get where you need to go. So do I think Mendoza can be a top 14 quarterback in the NFL? I certainly do at this point, and I think a lot of teams are going to come to that same conclusion, and that's why he's going to go number 1 overall. Alon, your response is what?
Okay. I have Mendoza as a guy who could be a 13 to 17 quarterback in the league. And the idea of trading the type of assets that people have been talking about, like your buddy on Sunday, who said the Jets should trade 3 1s to go get him, which, in my opinion, would be a fireable offense. but that's just me. Okay. I like Mendoza. I've watched Mendoza a lot this year. I've watched, I believe, 8 Indiana games this year. What makes Mendoza
more than
great
me,
on
okay.
Indiana? Can you hear me?
Yes. I'm just saying you've seen more games than me is what I was saying. So
Yes.
you've seen 8. I said I've seen maybe 4 or 5. So you've seen more than me.
What makes Mendoza great on Indiana is Kurt Signetti has put him in a position to succeed, meaning Indiana is led by their running game. Their running game sets up their passing game. So when people are talking about, those great throws in the fourth quarter, the game winner against Penn State, the game winner against Ohio State, the game winner against Iowa, you got to watch the entire game. And what I see is a quarterback who misses a lot of throws, a quarterback who struggles with speed rushers. And in my opinion, when you're going to trade all that capital for that type of quarterback, he has to be elite. Okay. And I just don't see him being that guy. So I would rather if they go on.
Yeah. So I just want to highlight one of the points you said, that you believe that he could be between a 13 and 17 quarterback. There's
That's
32
correct.
teams in National Football League. That's very specific. What makes you think that? Not quite a top 12 guy, but 13 to 17. Like what? You've seen more games than me. I'm not crapping on any of your insights from that perspective. You've seen more games than me, straight up.
Many people do, but I appreciate it.
Which is great. So what leads you to that statement that you just said, that I think he could be in this range?
Lack of athleticism is a big issue for me.
Okay.
Again, I always go back to the Iowa game because I watched it, and I watched it a couple times. Right. I watched the game, and then I watched the all 22. Mm-hmm. The speed rushers that our defensive coordinator at Iowa sent in that game, both up the middle and on the perimeter, really caused problems for him, to the point where 3 minutes to go with 13-13, he threw a pass which was so badly overthrown that it was picked. And if Iowa had a semi-legit quarterback, they would have won the game, but they don't. Okay. He came back and he hit an out. I guess he hit a cross with about 2 minutes to go on a 3rd and 10 where Iowa blitzed, which made no sense. Okay. He's made clutch throws. I'm not saying he hasn't, but body of work, that's where I have an issue. And again, if I'm thinking to myself 13 to 17 as far as quarterbacks, and people are talking about trading multiple ones or a 1 and a 2 for a team that's about to be 3 and 14 that needs players everywhere.
Do you honestly believe that if the Jets have the 3rd or better draft pick in the at the end of the year, that they're going to have to give up 3 number ones?
I think they're going to have to give up another 1 and a 2. I do.
So how many total picks? So again, I think
they would have.
So two things here, right? So the Jets are likely to lose out. The only obstacle in that is potentially beating the Saints, if people think they can do that. But the Saints won 2 in a row, won 3 of 5, so we'll see what happens. But let's say the Jets lose out, which again seems more likely than not. They, according to the athletic models, if they do that, they have a very strong chance of landing a top 3 pick. Let's call it 3 for argument's sake. They have the 3rd overall pick. You believe let's say it doesn't matter who the team is. It doesn't matter. Whoever's number 1.
Not the Raiders.
Well, I understand that. I don't mean it doesn't matter like the Raiders would trade it to the Jets. I mean,
Titans.
Sure, right. For the example, we'll use the Titans. Jets have number 3 overall. Titans have number 1 overall. You believe it will take what for the Jets go from 3 to 1?
I think, let me just answer that with this comment.
Okay.
I still am of the belief that Dante Moore goes back to school. I might be dead wrong because
there's some recent rumors that suggest
there have been
otherwise.
Recent rumors. I watched the McShay podcast yesterday, and he said if he were his agent, he would tell Moore to go back to school. He's not ready. He can hone his craft back at Oregon and wait another year rather than just sit on the bench for a season in the NFL.
I agree.
Okay, so supply and demand is a big issue when it comes to this. Let's say Moore goes back to school, and it's only Mendoza up top, because I don't buy Ty Simpson. Ty Simpson is not an option right now in that
Fair
area.
enough.
So if you're Tennessee and you have the only quarterback on the board right there at 1, you're going to ask for the moon, and there are going to be teams that might move up. So I think the package would be the Jets first, the Colts first from 2026, and a number 2 pick. So you're telling me
2 1s.
2 1s. Again, I said they were going to be 4th. Okay. So I'm thinking 2 1s and a 2. So you're giving up, in my opinion, 3 starters, immediate starters, for a guy that I don't see as that game changer. I think he went to the perfect situation at Indiana. I think Kurt Signetti put him in a spot to succeed because of the talent he had around him. I don't think he carries teams. I don't.
We don't want him to start next year.
No, I'm talking about. I don't think he's a guy who would win games by himself.
Okay, so let me do a follow-up
How many
here.
games would the Jets win if Jared Goff was their quarterback?
Depends which Jared Goff you're talking about.
That's also
okay,
fair.
let's say any of the Jared Goff in the last 3 years. Because none of us expect or want, our rookie quarterback to play next year and to start, except in the very worst of circumstances if everybody else gets hurt.
So if you're trading up to number 1, let me ask you a question on this one.
Yeah.
If you're trading up to number 1 for Mendoza,
yeah,
you think in 2025, and this is where there's an issue with the NFL right now. You think in 2025, you're drafting the number 1 overall pick in the draft,
2026,
and he's not sitting, and he's
gonna
not starting. You're saying
he's
right
not starting. He's going to start right away, and that's the problem.
No, he's not.
Hold on, Cam Ward, in my opinion, was not ready to start, in my opinion, and he started day 1.
Okay,
that's the problem. When you're drafting number 1 overall, there is going to be a lot of pressure for the franchise.
Yes,
to start the guy right away.
Now, Alon, real quick, I could only assume that under that beanie of yours is that third eye that you've come up with this Fernando's 13-17, right? That's where you think he can be. Well, let's go out on a limb and say you're not the only one on the planet that has that take. Other people may have watched the games and come to the same conclusion. If that's true, maybe there's not this crazy race to get Fernando. Sure, if he's the only quarterback in the group, there is an intrinsic value there. But if other people come to that conclusion that they don't think he's this needle mover, maybe the Jets aren't going to have to give him all this craziness and what could be perceived as a weaker quarterback class. So that's what I guess I'm losing. Is Alon, you're joining us on these shows and you're telling me that Fernando's not that great, but we're going to have to give up my firstborn son to trade for. What's the truth? That's I guess what I'm getting lost as we continue to get closer to this process.
Supply and demand is going to be a big issue when it comes to quarterback.
Always is.
And when he is the only quarterback on the board, again, I think Dante Moore goes back to school. That's just me. He may not. He may come out. If he is the only quarterback on the board, while I see him as 13-17, a lot of people might put him on another level because he's the only game in town. So a team like Arizona or a team like Cleveland or a team like the Rams with 2 number 1s, they might say, you know what? I'll take a chance on this guy. The problem with the Jets is if they were a quarterback away from being a playoff team, I would understand it. They are going to be 3-14 with holes everywhere. Why force the issue? Why not slow play the rebuild with all? You're going to have 4 picks in the top 47 where you can have 4 starters. Also, you can maneuver around, trade back a pick, get more capital. Again, this team has bottom 5 talents, in my opinion, in the sport. Why force the issue for a guy that I don't believe is a game changer? I don't.
two things here. A couple of years ago, there was a one quarterback in the draft. His name was Kenny Pickett. He went 20th. Just because you're the best of the crap does not necessarily mean you're going to be this force-fed guy at the top. Some years it just doesn't happen. I don't think Fernando Mendoza is going 20th overall. Just the point that just because you're the number one quarterback in a class that is perceived weaker just doesn't necessarily mean that all this stuff comes that way. But to answer the second part of what you just said about like, oh man, Alon, do not think that the Jets are a quarterback away from instantly jumping into the playoffs. The thing I would say is, as a Jets fan and a Jets team, we haven't seen a lot of teams that have had a quality quarterback of what that could do. A good quarterback masks a lot of deficiencies. And the thing that I like about, let's say, Fernando is better than you say at 13 to 17. I like the offensive line. It's had bumps on the road this season. I'm not going to pretend they're the best, but Fernando Mendoza would be coming into an offensive line that's set or close to set. I know Frankie disagrees with that because of the guard situation of Simpson ABT. It's not perfect. There's things that have to be ironed out, but you have Garrett Wilson. You're going to probably have Breece Hall, at least for 2026. We'll see whatever happens with whatever games they play, or else they would have traded him. So you have Breece, you have Garrett, you have the 5, you have Mason Taylor, a quality young tight end with upside. Fernando should have everything he needs. If the defense sucks, to your point, 4 picks at top 47 could give you other stars on that side of the ball, fine. But a quarterback and an offense halfway decent and the defense sucks, Jet fans haven't seen that a lot. It's been good defenses, shitty offenses forever. So Fernando would be in a position to succeed if you believe anything with Tanner Angstrom. So I guess that's why you say, why force the issue? It's a quarterback-driven league. So if you could get a quarterback that you believe can be the guy and you have a chance to do it, and the only time that I agree with you, Alon, for this quarterback thing of not getting him too early is Joey Harrington. Your offensive line blows, and you get this quarterback that you think could be a guy, but oh shit, we can't protect him. That I am like, okay, build the rest of your team. But when you think you have an offensive line, which I do for the Jets, I don't think that Fernando's getting shoved in hell. He's got an offensive line that'll be ahead of him that I think will allow him to develop and do his things if and when he gets on the field. So I guess that's the whole of the equation. I don't mind getting a quarterback, even if the rest of the team isn't ready. Get the quarterback, and the rest of the team's going to pick up and find its way, especially if you have an offensive line.
I'd like
And
to
there is
rebut that,
another
but Bob can
hold
go
on.
first.
There's another point in play here that I think we
All
need
right.
to take into account.
Okay.
If Indiana goes to the championship game
Okay.
of the NCAA, what will they have played? 3 games in the postseason?
Well, because they have the bye. So what's that? 1, 2,
Right.
3. Yeah, I believe 3. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Oh, if they get
How
to the
Mendoza
championship game.
performs against
Oh, yes, not counting the
against-
championship game. So, Bob,
Yeah.
let me clarify that. Right. If you don't count the championship game, it's 2. Right. If you count
It's
the
2.
championship
So if,
game, it's
if they
3.
get to the championship game,
He will
made a
then
point
play a
last
third
week.
game. Yeah.
Alon, I think you made the point last week that you have doubts about him performing against Texas Tech.
That's
Okay.
either
Okay.
the, either of
Okay,
those
well, hold on,
teams
let me
would be
finish
very
my
tough.
thought. If he has to play 3 superior for college defenses over the next 3 games, and he finds ways to win games, in crucial situations late in the game, like he's done, for most of this season, okay, his stock stays up or even gets better.
I
But if
agree.
he struggles, if they win, but he struggles, he's not going to be deemed as valuable in the NFL draft as he seems to be right now. And so I think we all have to hold our gunpowder until we see exactly how well he performs, when he's up against the wall, and he's got to really show, he's got to show guts, he's got to show ability, and he's got to show, ability to perform against, really superior college defenses, but superior college defenses.
Yeah,
Can I
I
make-
think we all agree, and then I want to throw it over to Alon, that what he does, of course, in this college football playoff could dramatically change things. I don't imagine Fernando plays so terribly that he's like, he's a third-round pick now. Outside of that, I think for the most part, he could solidify himself. He could create some more buzz that happens in the tournament. So, yes, I think we can all agree what's about to happen is going to affect what happens here. But go ahead, Alon.
So let me rebut that point,
Okay.
Paul.
Okay,
Yes,
go
sir.
ahead.
The reason why the Jets are in an enviable position as far as quarterbacks are concerned
Mm-hmm.
is they have 3 1s in 2027. If the Jets did not have 3 1s in 2027, I can understand people wanting to force feed the quarterback now. Due to the fact that the Jets are going to be 3-14, Baruch Hashem, that's for you, Bob. If they're going to be 3-14, I agree with Bob. I think that they're going to beat the Saints Sunday. I don't know why, but I do.
Oh, you think they will beat the Saints?
I do, because that's the Jets' way. The Jets will find a way to win that game. Okay?
Oh, Bob thinks they're going to lose, so then you guys just.
I'm picking them to win.
Yeah,
but
I would not.
He
be
doesn't
surprised if they
believe
win,
it.
Okay.
Right, okay. All right.
The idea of a 3-14 team that has not only 2 1s this year, but 3 1s in a much superior class in 2027 allows Muji the opportunity to evaluate the entire team and allows him to think to himself, you know what? I don't have to force feed the quarterback now. And then people are going to say, oh, he has to win in 2026. Honestly, I don't think he does, because I think the Sauce and Williams trades were made for 2027. I do not think they were made for 2026. So I think 2026, I know Jet fans will hate to hear this. I think 2026 is what 2025 should have been. Okay. I think
you could have a point, but I was going to make the point that the belief and the estimates of how good the quarterback's going into this season were pretty dramatically high, and it didn't work out that way.
I agree. I know, but
you don't know what you might be dealing with next year.
I agree, but I have the ability with 3 number 1s next year to move up the draft. And I think, and one final point, and first of all, I have a quarterback in mind that I would love to go get.
Okay.
And not in the draft, outside the draft.
For 2026, you're talking about.
I would like the starting quarterback of the Jets in 2026 to be Tanner McKee.
Okay, the Eagles kid. Okay, yep.
And the reason the way I would get him, Tanner McKee, is a guy you mentioned the other day, Paul, in Wednesday's show.
Really?
I would trade Will McDonald for him. Absolutely.
Oh.
And I'll tell you why. Will McDonald has an option in 2027 for about $13.5 million or $14 million.
Yeah, so the option's coming up this May to exercise, but it will be for that 2027 season. It's $14.94 million.
Okay, so that's triple what he's making now. He's up for, I think he's making 5.2 in 2026.
I do not have that in front of me. I'll take your word for it. Sure. Okay.
Mm-hmm. I do not think the Jets will pick up that option. Okay, I don't.
Really? Interesting.
I do not.
Okay. All
right. The way the Jets are set up defensively, I don't think he fits their scheme. So when you look at Will McDonald, I see a 3rd round value, maybe an early 4, high 3, something in that value. I don't think you're getting anything more for Will McDonald. Okay. So I look at Tanner McKee, who's in his 4th season. Again, he's playing behind Jalen Hurts. He hasn't had the opportunity to start games.
So contract year coming up.
Contract year. Making $1.2 million, 6'6", a size that is similar to what Tanner Engstrand coached back in Detroit with Goff. They were both tall quarterbacks with nice arms. I would rather take that route and see if you can find a diamond in the rough rather than trading multiple top 50 draft picks for a quarterback that a lot of people have the if quotations around, and that's with him.
And then we really should get on some of the other callers. But what do you think? What do you think he is worth giving up to get him?
I think McKee. First of all, I think McKee's going to get dealt this offseason. Okay,
I agree. Yes, it's now or never.
And I think there'll be more teams than you think that will be interested in him.
So will they get a 1 for him?
No, I said I think a 3. And I think that's what Will McDonald is going
to do. We don't have a 3.
No, that's what Will McDonald is.
I see.
Interesting.
Good point.
Okay. Well, Alon,
I want you on the committee to tell us who not to put into the Hall of Fame.
That's an important role.
Yeah, very important. We need a naysayer to keep us all honest.
Yeah, go ahead, Alon.
I'm going away for a week. I appreciate all. Okay. I will listen to the show back next Saturday.
All right, great.
Everything is okay, and I have a chance to go watch Texas A&M tomorrow live. I'm looking forward to it.
Okay.
And I think the Jets will win Sunday. Unfortunately, I do.
Have a happy Hanukkah, Alon.
Have a happy Hanukkah as well. Again, the Jets should not make the move to go up for Mendoza. And again, I hope the Raiders get the #1 pick.
I think you're on the record now as having said that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Thank you, Alon. I appreciate it. Pleasure is all ours. I would say there's a lot of things to say. And I see we have some memberships being gifted and a message from Harvey, which I want to get to as well.
That's great.
My prerequisite for the Jets trading up for Mendoza was I needed them. The word of the day is smitten. You only do it if you love what you see. If you don't love, then Alon's point is taken. All right, we're going to 2027, I guess. I'm not just randomly taking a quarterback. But if they are smitten, I want you to go get your guy. If you identified a franchise quarterback and you don't get him, that's the stupidest thing of all time, not to go get the guy.
Smitten clearly means that you've looked and analytically 100%. At him, at his pros, his cons, and what you need, and whether he could be someone who would evolve.
Right.
I don't think the Jets are trying to bring him, at least him, into a situation and say, all right, get out there and show us.
I hope not, to be honest. Well, here's the thing. I would say this, right? And Lon's not here anymore, and we'll go to other callers. But if the Jets trade up for Mendoza, they get it. However they get it, they get Mendoza. I wouldn't mind also taking a swing on Tanner McKee or whoever. I want Mendoza to be paired. The Jets should be looking for 2 quarterbacks this offseason. The talented rookie to develop, and then a veteran. And whether it's proven, Tanner McKee is not proven, but you want a proven guy, fine. Go get a proven guy.
I wouldn't be opposed to getting the kid from Indiana and McKee, seriously, and bringing him in together. And let them learn together, and you could have 2 strengths there.
Yeah, whatever combo you want. If it's Mendoza and Kirk Cousins, it's Mendoza and whoever the other veteran is. We can have conversation about who that other guy is, but I think it is 2 quarterbacks coming. Here are some memberships flowing in from Harvey Bouchard Jr. Hey now. Raffle tickets are coming in for Harvey, and 5 memberships means we got to do some of this.
Kevin James.
I just got 3 things to say. God bless our troops. God bless America. And gentlemen, start your engine!
All right, here are the 5 new members to the Boy Green Coffee Club. We have Phenom, who's back. Welcome, Phenom. Welcome back. We have AD83. Jay Burek is back. We have The Real 2 Cruisin', and then Wild One Productions are all now members to the Boy Green Coffee Club. Shout out to Harvey. And Harvey has a special message, which I'm excited to share. I'm off all my blood pressure medicine. No more sleep apnea. No salt pills. It's crazy. I'm jacking up and working out. It's nuts. Congratulations, Harvey. That's absolutely wonderful news. And I love when we could get some of these positive health updates. And obviously, we're getting that with you, buddy. Yes. And Harvey, thank you for basking and sharing in the love. You got 5 raffle tickets for our giveaway we're doing this month. And thanks for spreading some holiday cheer. Less than a week from Christmas, which is pretty nice. So shout out there as well. All right, let's go back to the phone lines here. Bob, up next. Mr. Famous Fulton.
Morning, Paul.
Top of the morning to you.
First time that we meet.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
Mr.
how you doing, Bob?
I'm good. How are you?
Nice to meet you, Bob.
By the way, I think you should really be volunteering to the Jets to be the stand-in every time their new quarterback is about to be sacked. They should just call a timeout, let you in there, and let you take the punishment if you're up for it, because you could just go as his double and nobody would know the difference.
That's true. Yeah, you look like Mendoza, people said. Yeah.
Yes. Yep.
All right, what's on your mind, Mr. Famous Fulton?
Well, today's my brother Carson's big 25th birthday today. Golden birthday.
Hey, happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Yeah. And I took a day off of work today since it was like snowing today. So
sure. It's good. How much snow do you guys have over there?
Let's see. We have
he's about to get out the ruler. Okay.
It's just a few, but it's just like blowing snow and stuff. So
nice.
It's like very slick today.
Have a
so
snow
it's
day,
just,
buddy. Yes.
Yeah. Yep. just going to stay inside and just keep myself warm and probably just relax and just take it easy.
All right, there you go. That's the way to do it, Mr. Famous Fulton. So happy birthday to your brother. That's exciting news, and we're looking forward to more of your performances, my friend.
Yep, and Bob, it's a pleasure to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Have a great weekend and have a Merry Christmas.
Yeah, you too.
There he is, Mr. Famous Fulton, gracing us with his presence. Speaking of gracing with our presence, I believe we have another massive update. And by the way, we have 500 people in the room. Appreciate that so much, no matter where you're watching. So glad you guys have been really enjoying the show. Like I said, make sure you guys like the video, hit subscribe. You know what? Let me do this real quick. I'm doing a free giveaway. You guys know I do the giveaways where you guys spend $3, you have a chance to win stuff. But people love free. Let's go free right now. There's a free giveaway that's happening here. Let me make sure I get it up here on the screen. Okay, it's my MC Show digital channel. So that YouTube channel right there on your screen, we're doing a free giveaway to rack up subscribers. And again, it's free to subscribe. All you have to do is go to that handle on YouTube and you can subscribe. There are 25 spots left for this free giveaway. We have 425 subscribers. If you're one of the first 450 subscribers, we're giving this away, baby. Let's go full screen here real quick. This is the 1972 official New York Jets yearbook cover with 2 Pro Football Hall of Famers there. That is Joe Namath and John Riggins. If you guys want a chance to win this sweet, very cool piece of New York Jets history, and again, it's all wrapped up, and we'll send it right to you. All you have to do is subscribe to that YouTube channel on your screen. That's youtube.com/@MC Show Digital. If you're watching on YouTube right now, you can just hop on over. If you're watching on Twitter or Facebook or wherever else, you can open up a new tab and go over to it. Again, if you're one of our first 450 subscribers, we're giving them this away for free. So, folks, and if you're in, we're going to keep doing free giveaways. So just remain a subscriber, and you'll be eligible for all our other free giveaways because only one person will win this, and there'll be more to come. So, folks, make sure you take full advantage. We love doing free, and I'll do this real quick. I'll put it in the chat if you're not subscribed already. Here is the YouTube link where you guys can just click and join right now here on YouTube. So good luck, and we're actually doing a free giveaway. I'm on in an hour with our fantasy football expert. We're giving away the autograph photo from Slapshot, which is very nice. So we reached 425, so we'll give that away on the show today. Looking forward to that. All right, Bob, let's go to a special caller. This is someone you've asked about. Let's bring him up. It looks like Johnny Boy. Are you home, Johnny?
Yes, sir.
Hey, glad to hear
Boy.
you're home and getting healthier by the day, hopefully.
Yeah, I'm actually had to call my surgeon today, that I'm having some it's probably TMI, but there's some like leakage coming from and I don't know if that's normal, right? Because it's not like blood or it's not like yellow or anything like that at all. It's like
oh, Jesus. All right, well, hopefully that's just normal leakage happening there, and it's nothing too bad. So hopefully that's all right for you, Johnny.
Yeah, it doesn't hurt or anything like that at all, but
Okay, good. It's
Bob,
good to see you home, though.
I appreciate that, man. BG, Bob. Interesting morning today, I would have to say. Very interesting Friday.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. I'm glad. So you like my idea?
Yeah. I mean, I've been on the board of not having our quarterback start. Like, I don't want him to start. I want us to get a quarterback, a veteran quarterback, and then kind of go from there. And very similar to almost like the Jackson Dart situation that happened with the Giants, where they had the Russell Wilson, they had the Jameis Winston, and then they had Jackson Dart. And there was no pressure on him, right? It was, hey, let me keep learning the speed of the NFL. Let me keep learning the nuances that come along with the different types of calls of an NFL organization itself. And that's what I want to see. We're so nowadays that, you get this guy and he needs to start off the rip. But I also understand where Alan is talking about, because it's going to be the truth. If we give up a lot of capital, right, for this quarterback, he has to. They're going.
I'm going to be so tempted, even
guy.
as a fan. Let's be honest. They draft Fernando Mendoza. We're seeing him in the spring. We're like, Hey, when are we seeing this guy on the field? We're just it's an unwrapped package at Christmas, but it's going to be like May and June, and the package is still wrapped.
But
Of course
Paul,
we're going to want to see it.
that also brings up, the critical nature of who they bring in to basically be the quarterback whisperer. And I know it'll never happen because there's a complete league-wide movement against him. But bring me John Gruden.
Did you
bring me
just
a guy who already has been sitting down post-season with these rookie quarterbacks, sitting down and talking to them and evaluating them and giving them a little, guidance and that sort of thing. But this guy knows how to build quarterbacks. He knows how to win with all kinds of different quarterbacks. And I don't know if he would be considered a threat to AG. And I know also we know the NFL is really, they've kind of put him into the dog pound.
Sure.
And they're not willing to let him get out, at least so far. But this is a guy who might be head and shoulders over anybody else. And, I said this on Jake the other day. When you're a presidential nominee, the biggest, most important choice you make is who do you want to be as your vice president? Well, for AG, this is going to be the single most important that he's probably going to make if he sticks around with the Jets for years. This will be the maker or the breaker for him.
Is that Bob Lederer? Is that Bob Lederer or is that Easy over there?
It's Jets, Jets. I love Fireman Ed too.
See what you
Yeah,
did there, Bill.
I think I'm like, for me, I'm interested in them getting who's going to be the quarterback coach, right? Because I think the quarterback coach that we have right now used to play the running back position or something to that nature.
Exactly.
So, don't we have Nerve Turner's son?
We do, Scott Turner. Yes.
Yeah. So it's like, I always ask that, like, how come that hasn't come into play, right? Like, why hasn't Scott brought in his pops to kind of consult a little bit more? Because Nerve Turner had a pretty good system itself and was able to essentially develop QBs. So
he probably is informally, I would say. Like, again, I'm not a coach, but like I talk to my dad about all kinds of stuff. I would imagine in a football relationship, Scott is talking to Norv about all kinds of stuff. I would love Norv on the, like, for anyone that doesn't remember Norv Turner's greatness, watch the America's Team documentary with the Cowboys and how he changed everything for Troy. He challenged Troy Aikman and took him to this other level. And Troy appreciated, the intense coaching that brought him to a level that he may not have reached on his own. So Norv is a great mind.
Yeah, exactly. So it again, I hope that they don't start the quarterback. I also Dante Moore would be foolish not to come in this year itself. Because there's
just a weaker class.
Exactly. That's going to put you a little bit higher and get you paid more money in itself. So, do I want that?
But I think he'd be playing Russian roulette with his future because he just doesn't have the experience, in college, much less in the pros. And there is so much evidence that guys who start for 1 year really have a tough time in the pros. Plus, I think Dante Moore's only 20 years old.
Yeah, but making
he is 20 years old. Yeah,
but the money he's going to make money anyway. Through the system that's in college now. So there's no rush to get out to the pros, but he needs to get that experience under his belt.
Yeah, Ty Simpson is the one that had one season. It looks like Dante Moore back at UCLA had a season where he played 9 games and had over 200 attempts. So he's had more than one season, but Ty Simpson is the one with one season, just to clarify.
Okay. I stand corrected.
And yes, Jared B., I would love to have a Jets hospital gown itself, but I had to they gave me a whole bunch of them because I can't have any kind of clothes that has any elastic or anything that's hitting my
wound. Yeah, that could affect the area. Right. Yep.
So I have to have pretty much
very. But you're feeling better, right?
Yeah, I feel strong, man. I feel good. I feel great. It's just I can't drive for 2 weeks. Like they told me, I'm just happy to be here. I'm happy to be with my kids. I'm happy to be alive itself, onto the road of recovery to be able to do everything. It's just, 2 weeks of not being able to do anything. I can't drive. I can't do A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Just have to.
Wait, so you said you can't do A, B, C, D, E, F, G. You can't do any of those things, but can you do J, E, T, S?
Every single day. I have been trying to master the art that is the Bob Jets chant. It is very
mythical.
Very,
it's very difficult.
Very
difficult.
I hear you made a comment. Jets, Jets.
Yes.
Yeah. I hear you made a comment about the fact that nothing moves on my face while I do that.
Yeah, is that true?
Jets, Jets.
Yes.
I saved all the movement from my body, which you couldn't
see.
Yes.
That's
why.
Right.
I am showing Fred Astaire dance moves while I'm doing that.
Okay. Well, Bob, I appreciate you and appreciate all the kind words and everything, man. And you too, BG, and everybody else, man. It's been in the chat. It's been huge. But I am home. I am back. Cannot wait. Can't wait to kick Rehab's booty hole. Right. And keep it going, man. So I'll be home for the holidays with my kids.
Excellent.
And, they were so happy to see me last night.
Johnny boy, how old are you?
38. Still young.
Turn off the sound while you watch the Jets game on Sunday.
You should have seen me at the hospital after that game. I paged a nurse and I'm like, I'm in pain. And she's like, oh, what do you need? Well, we could get you something real quick. I've been dealing with this team for I don't know how many years itself. Do you have anything that's super, super strong? She's like, no. But she's like, how about them Bills, though? She's being
disgusting.
a Bills fan after that W from the Patriots. But everybody, it's Friday. You guys have a good weekend.
Hey, Johnny, and here's this real quick. NY Jets FL Ted says in the chat, see you at the meetup in 2026. We're doing the Boy Green meetup again. So whoever came the first time, hopefully they come back, and Johnny will get you back there. We had you 2 years ago. We'll have to have you back healthy as an ox. Ted, I've never met Ted before, so I can't wait for that meetup that'll be coming up next year.
Hell yeah. You know what? I'm with it. I'm gonna bring my family.
Great.
I want to do it. So let's do it. Let's do it though in a time that's not cold though, right? And
Johnny, have a very Merry Christmas.
You as well. Thank you so much.
And remember.
Jets, Jets.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm sure in your moments of despair last week that gave you hope.
Every single time. Every time I was in pain, those moves that you did were the moves that helped everything get around where it.
I see how he got his wife now. It's very clear. If he was dropping those kind of moves and dropping it,
and those were the disco days. That's where I picked it up.
How
I could tell.
The what is it? The laundromat, right? The mashed potato.
Yeah. There you go. Get some of that action. Johnny, heal up, brother.
I appreciate you guys. Hey, Merry Christmas, Bob. Again, man. BG,
take care of yourself.
Always, man.
Keep feeling better and getting better.
Oh yeah, I got this medicine. I got to take it. It knocked me out. So can't wait.
We'll see you soon. Thanks, pal. Shout out to Johnny, who again continues to heal up, and it's great to hear that Johnny's home. He's there for his kids. It was looking good a couple weeks ago. It looked like Boy's going to miss Christmas with his kids, and that would have been awful. So great news for his continued recovery from that perspective. Let's get another caller. And Troy Sturgis joins us. What's up, Troy?
Hey, Troy.
Guys, how you guys doing?
Excellent, man.
Hey, I've good to see Johnny Boys back for Christmas and back home.
Yeah.
Chad Pennington, Ring of Honor.
100%.
Yeah,
I love Chad. He's the perfect name.
I haven't heard his name, so I just
great choice. Great choice.
Hendon Hooker signed him yesterday.
Yes.
Have you guys touched on that? I missed the first part of that.
No, very briefly. Here's the long story short for people who don't know about him. He worked out for the team on Thursday morning, which was yesterday morning. Jets like what they see. They signed him to the practice squad. Hendon Hooker was drafted by the Detroit Lions, highly touted kid, went in the 3rd round. He should have went much higher, but he tore his ACL in his final season at Tennessee when he was in the middle of arguably a Heisman campaign. So Lions got him at a discount. He spent 2.5 years there. He was there for 2 full seasons, and then up until made final roster cut. He missed, final roster cuts in August, and he was released from the team. He ended up signing with the Carolina Panthers and spent the last couple of months on their practice squad. And he was cut a little over a month ago, and he was a free agent to be. Of course, he crossed over with Aaron Glenn. He crossed over with Tanner Engstrand, so there's familiarity with the playbook. He's a super talented kid. I loved Hendon Hooker coming out of the draft. The injury, obviously, was a massive red flag. He had video game numbers, 9,000 passing yards, a crazy touchdown-reception ratio in college. He's really done nothing at the NFL. He's only thrown 9 attempts in 3 random games for the Lions, so we have no idea what he is. I like the kick of the tires for the Jets. Continue to churn the bottom of the roster, because I feel like, if we're being honest, Tyrod's not going to be here next year. Justin's not going to be here next year. I think Brady Cook has a chance to be, at worst, a QB3, and maybe if he goes crazy, he could be a QB2. Hendon Hooker, if he shows anything over these final 3 games in practice and things of that nature, he could be on the 90-man roster during the offseason.
You just stole what I was going to say. He's going to be one of the futures guys that's going to sign.
So I like it. Yeah.
Do you think they signed him so they can just keep Justin on the outs, I guess? Or
well, here's the thing. So we're going to find this out.
So he might be the third QB.
Well, he may be the second QB on Sunday, because, like I said, we should maybe hear from AG. I don't know. He's sometimes cagey on updates. But Tyrod and Justin, there's been two practice so far this week, Wednesday and Thursday. We're going to have another practice today on Friday. Tyrod and Justin were limited on the first 2 days of practice, on both days. Like, maybe there's suddenly going to be a full participant today, and then all worries are gone. But if they're limited again, maybe Hendon Hooker on 2 days of prep is going to be the backup quarterback to Brady Cook on Sunday, which would be crazy to think about. Or maybe, to the point that we were just talking about, it's more so for 2026. They're just having him on the roster to be around the team and things of that nature, and that's what it is. But there's a sneaky thing in the back of my head, a little voice. It's saying he could be the quarterback too on Sunday against the Saints. So I've heard that voice. I've acknowledged that voice publicly, and I will see a schizophrenic specialist after this show to address it.
Couple more things.
Yes, sir.
Joe Milton III from Dallas.
Yes.
Backup quarterback.
Great arm.
Yeah.
What do you guys think of him compared to the kid from the Eagles?
Well, first off, it seems like, Troy, you have an affinity for former Tennessee Volunteer quarterbacks, which I acknowledge, and tip of the cap to you, my friend. Nothing wrong with that with Joe Milton and Hendon Hooker, and then a Peyton Manning reference earlier from Bob. Okay, we got our Tennessee Volunteer stock up as far as that's concerned. I like Joe Milton. Bob said the analysis any of us could say in the universe. He has a rocket launcher surgically attached to his shoulder. I saw him at the combine, and at the end, he had the wow where the crowd goes wild, where he uncorked like an 80-yard bomb from his shoulder. He's got a massive arm. Obviously, we haven't seen him much in Dallas because Dak's been healthy. We saw him a little bit in New England. I think he's a talented kid. He was a late-round pick, so he is, I believe, set to be a free agent. So he could be an intriguing guy that they could potentially kick the tires on. It's hard to compare it to the Philly kid who Alon likes, Tanner McKee. Size-wise, you could sort of see it because they're both tall guys. But beyond that, just Tanner McKee has been cryogenically frozen. Milton has gotten more opportunities in the National Football League than McKee has gotten because of all the quarterback stuff. But no, I'm intrigued by those are the kind of upside options I like. Milton. I don't know if Hendon Hooker's legitimately in the starter conversation, but Hooker, McKee, that's the waters they should be swimming in.
Milton is interesting to me because he has very high confidence and great aspirations for himself, which is how he talked himself out of New England. Yeah. Because they didn't want him being the kind of guy who was going to be really miserable with no chance to be the starting quarterback.
Especially when he showed the previous year. Right, Drake May, yeah. But go ahead, Troy.
And after in this year's free agency, do you think we're going to spend a lot of it? Or do you think we're going to kind of hold some back and wait for the 2027?
There might be slight rollover because, for those who don't know, Right. Cap space does go from one year to the next, but there's a certain amount they have to spend. Now, is it big free agent splashes like I'm making this up? If Patrick Mahomes was a free agent, I'd throw him $500 million at him. I don't know about that, but I think there will be select swings. The Jets, as Alon highlighted and others have highlighted, they have a lot of needs on their team. And there's been some speculation they could swing big for a safety in free agency. They could swing big for a linebacker in free agency. They could swing big for something on defense, whether that's a pass rusher, a defensive tackle, or something that shakes free. We'll have to boil down the names and do that over the coming months as we're assessing free agency. But no, I think they are going to spend a large chunk of that. My guess would be they're rebuilding the defense with a lot of that money. Would probably be my gut instinct on it. And there's nothing wrong with that. Hell, the Jets have plenty of needs. Look at New England last year. They got really aggressive with free agency, and it's paid massive dividends. Sometimes it doesn't work, but you have to be selective, I guess, for lack of a better word. The Jets have money. They don't have to be selective, but they should really try to resist the urge of just slamming the red button in the room. They just got to make sure they're doing their homework in these pre-free agency meetings right now all the way through March.
And I think before I said in the past that as soon as AG selects that quarterback, picks that quarterback in the draft, his clock starts.
100%.
And I think if he doesn't select a quarterback and he goes the back route again for a free agent, I think it gives him a little bit more time before that clock starts as well. But, hey guys, I'm out. I gotta get back to work.
That's all right. I appreciate you squeezing us in when you do, Troy. My only pushback, in theory, what you said, Troy, should be true. If they don't take a quarterback in 2026, you, in theory, say, well, he's still got, they're going to let him eventually pick a quarterback. But that's not always true. Again, Arthur Smith in Atlanta, this is a guy that said, I'm going to keep building the team around, and then I'll get the quarterback later. Arthur Smith never got to pick the quarterback. Desmond Ridder, to me, in the third round doesn't count. So he kept building the rest of the team, and then he got fired. And then the next guy said, sweet, I'm going to take a quarterback. So if you wait forever, you don't always guarantee get the chance to pick your quarterback. So I don't want to say that for AG to rush the process. But again, if they are smitten with a quarterback, then what are we talking about? You go get that guy, you pay the price, and you insert him in, and hopefully you have your franchise quarterback moving forward. That's what you have.
And if you're really smitten and you want to go get that guy, lose.
Which right would be the creative way to do it, to not give up your arm and leg.
I was afraid that one of the reasons they got rid of the defensive coordinator is they want to improve their defense in the last 3 games and maybe
probably
win.
Yeah.
And I'd like to see improvement, but not that much.
Yeah. Well, to be candid, and I'm rooting for a Jets win, as I will be on Sunday. And if they lose, so be it. Their draft positioning improved. I don't know, with all due respect to Chris Harris, Chicago legend over there, I don't know what he's going to be able to change in 6 days. Yeah. I'm curious to see. Let's see. Do the players just have a verve that they didn't play with for Steve Wilkes and are sort of beaten down by him, and there'll be a sort of a freshness there? Maybe. And maybe that's a little bit of a spark.
They can make some They can make some adjustments with the linebackers in particular, who got special mention and focus, on the telecast last week. But when you're dealing with a secondary that is basically being held together by rubber bands, there's really not much you can do. So if they don't get a pass rush, which I think they will have to some degree on Sunday, but if you don't get a pass rush, it's going to be a very long afternoon. I don't think as long as it was in Jacksonville, but it's not going to be pretty.
All right, let's do one more plug here, folks. Again, we're doing a free giveaway here on the channel. It's for the holidays and everything else that's coming up here. Here it is. I'm putting it up on the screen. We're doing a free giveaway. To be eligible for said free New York Jets giveaway, all you have to do is subscribe to that channel on your screen, and I'm dropping it in the chat. We just picked up a few more subscribers, so thank you, everyone that's jumped in so far. I just dropped it in the YouTube link down below. Here it is. This is the official 1972 yearbook cover. If you want a chance to win this beautiful prize, that's Joe Namath and John Riggins, the Hall of Famers on the cover. All you have to do is subscribe to that YouTube channel on your screen. I also dropped it in the YouTube chat as well. If you're one of our first 450 subscribers, you have a chance to win this piece of Jets history. Again, spots are running out quick. I think we have another 33 spots or something of that nature. coming up. So 20 or 30 spots are left. My math is terrible. But folks, make sure you jump 23 spots left, excuse me. So 23 spots left. That is all that's available. It's first come, first serve. But if you are a subscriber, you're eligible for all our other free giveaways coming up. So folks, hit that subscribe button. That is the Man Shut Show with Boy Green Digital. It's my radio show that's gone now full digital. And so we're doing some cool giveaways to help us get to our big goal of 500 subscribers. But we're at 427 right now. So folks, if you're one of the first 450, you have a chance to win that beautiful prize right for the holidays, which is awesome. As soon as we reach that, we'll give it away. So the sooner we reach that, the sooner we give it away. Beautiful. And thank you to Joey Matesic for all the donations to all of our prize packs. Well, Bob, what a show. We had some angry yelling about Jeremy Ruckert, Fernando, and this quarterback and that quarterback. Garrett
Give us a Fernando outro. Let's do this up.
Yeah, of course. So, Alon, this will anger you, but sorry. We'll play that on the way out as well. Bob, can you put a bow on this puppy?
Well, I'm really hoping, and we don't see it till next week, that we see Fernando. I want to see more of him. I want to see him in all the situations. And again, the guy has just been Mr. Clutch when they really needed it. And say what you will about a run-oriented offense and the fact he's got pretty good receivers, but Curt Cignetti knows what he's doing. And he has put this kid, who everyone says from a professional level is darn smart and really good at reading defenses and knowing what to do with the ball. And the first thing, as I said last week, that really impressed me was his willingness to throw the ball away when he didn't have a play to make. He just, I think it's one of the reasons his interception rate is so low. And it was funny because the quarterback on who was it? The guy that finished second to him in the Heisman Trophy.
Oh yes, it's I think it's Diego Pavi.
Yeah, I felt sorry for the guy. He's obviously a very talented collegiate quarterback, but he got intercepted 9 times this year. Had more yards, passing the ball than Fernando did, but he was in a very different type of offense, and Fernando seems to be the kind of guy that's a fit, for what Muji and AG want to do. And that's why I'm so interested in him and have been, even though I've seen way less of him playing than you guys have. He just strikes me. He's not Archie Manning. Excuse me, he's not Archie Manning. No, he's not any of the great mobile quarterbacks out there. But I looked up before, who are some of the really vaunted NFL quarterbacks who were not very athletic?
Yeah.
And Peyton.
Sure.
And Eli and Ben Roethlisberger.
Yes.
And guys like that. I mean, and this is a big kid, and he can put on some weight. He probably will have to. But the guy's got a good enough arm. And if you've got the smarts, that you really need to survive, he could be a game changer. He's not going to be Joe Namath. He's not going to be Patrick Mahomes, but you don't need that. But he could be a difference maker in himself, and he could turn a team that's won 3 games this year, and maybe they would have won 6 his first year. It's a process. It takes time, and again, the quarterback on Detroit, he didn't turn into a top flight quarterback overnight. In fact, he was a throw-in from the Rams to Detroit. But he was brought along, he was coached up. And the one thing that AG may have going for him is that he was there and he saw how they brought him up and how they built him up, up here and physically as well, and made him into the type of quarterback who is a steady week in, week out guy, who's led Detroit to a lot of victories.
Fernando, by the way, is 22 years of age. He just turned 22 in October. He's 6'5", 225 pounds. And Dane Brugler said
he can put on another 20 pounds easily, and he may want to do that and become even more, strong. So,
and hey, Dane Brugler's compliment to Fernando is his best work is his intelligence pre and post snap. That he's an incredibly smart quarterback. He has these impressive size measurables, which are great, and we'll see what he brings to the
you're
table.
not going to find a more athletic quarterback than Zach Wilson.
That's for sure. And look how that one turned out.
Yeah,
So I want to thank everybody for joining us here on a Friday show. Happy holidays to everybody.
Merry Christmas to everybody out there, and hopefully a happy Hanukkah to our Jewish watchers.
Yes, to those who celebrate. So thank you guys so much again for tuning in. I'll be on in 30 minutes. If you guys have fantasy football questions, now will be the time to do so. You guys will be able to submit those. That's already a live link on our YouTube channel. So if you have any fantasy football questions, feel free to throw those in the chat for our guy Joe Bartle. That'll be coming up in 30 minutes. So thanks everybody for tuning in. Happy holidays.
Go Saints.
Go Saints.